3, 2, 1, and welcome back to Chasin the Racin,
powered by OMG, Bennetts and JCT Truck and Trailer Hire, and this episode has been brought to you by none other than Captain Insano's personal sponsor, Lee Pinder, who actually has a very grown-up job, and I think he owns his business, but he does Real Networks provide a complete design and installation service for copper and fibre optical data cabling systems.
He's an electrician then.
He'll be screaming through, going, I'm never sponsoring that podcast straight again.
I'm joking.
He's not joking, by the way, but I'll tell you what, before we get introducing our cracking guests for this evening, we have got the delicious, tall and mysterious Joe Ackroyd, and he's shaking his head there every time. You love it, man. You love a bit of side compliment.
It's terrific.
How we doing, son?
I'm good, mate. You?
Thank you so much for coming up, because where the hell have you been at the minute?
I was on holiday last week, so yeah.
Like he's a proper family man. You can tell this. I'm just looking at our guests at the moment, just going, "Oh yes, half term."
You could have brought some sunshine back.
It rained. It rained 3 days. We did a week in Portugal. And it rained for 3 days. Yeah, dream.
Not good.
No.
But I'll tell you what, this is the perfect opportunity to introduce our fantastic guests for the evening, Mr. and Mrs. TT themselves, Fiona and John Holden. How the hell are you?
We're good, thank you. Thank you very much for inviting us along.
Bollocks to that.
Yeah, no, thank you. Yeah.
Bollocks to that. You drove up from Blackburn. Thank you so much for taking the time and the journey to get up here. Honestly, brilliant.
He rang me, he said, we've got the Holdens and they're going to Hull, so they're going to call in on the way.
We were coming here and then we might as well go to Hull while we're here.
Oh yeah, this is the main event.
I said my geography's not up to much, but this isn't on the way to Hull, so we appreciate you making the effort for swinging by. Thank you.
So what are you actually going to Hull for?
Well, it's all to do with my racing that I retired from last year. I didn't. But,
he's the quickest retired man ever. I think you retired for 10 months?
Yeah. But
that's in the past now. Bollocks to it there.
It was a bit like a divorce, wasn't it? Not doing your racing.
Yeah, I don't get into the TT now, but to give up the TT was heartbreaking. There's a YouTube video of me and you can see me crying on the stage at the TT. It was just, we got a third and I were filling up and looked alright, pillock.
You say that, but then anybody who's been there and done it, they're never going to say that because everybody that's set off down Braille understands exactly like that.
Yeah, it's a drug. It's a drug.
For you saying, I'm going to pack it in. You can't, can you? It's a disease.
Well, I first went there in 1988. So that shows how old I am. So.
You like a good bottle of wine. Sidecar races get better with age.
And we've had
I'm not alcoholic, by the way.
I like it.
We'll move on to that in a minute as well.
But I mean, going there, it's just been, that's what you do in May, and end of May, beginning of June. So but my son, he's going to be doing it. And I thought he was going to be doing it in 24. And that was not really the reason, but it helped me sort of think, right, well, I'll stop and then I can help him. But then he decided he's not just ready yet. He hasn't got everything in place. So he's going 25. So that meant that in 24, he wasn't there, I wasn't there. So it made it real difficult not to do anything.
Yeah, you've been a proper grumpy.
Oh, yeah. It's been... Honestly, it's upset me.
Yeah.
Fiona said how it is. He's just been a grumpy twat. Go on, just say it.
But I haven't said that F word, but...
It takes up so much time to prepare for it, doesn't it? Yeah. And then you realise when that's not there, what am I supposed to do? Yeah. What do I do with my time?
No.
Do you know, going back to 1988, was that your first time riding there? Or
yes.
Your first time going in?
No, I've been going since a kid.
Because I like these stories.
Yeah.
Where the seed is planted.
Oh, well, yeah.
Steady, Joe.
My dad was, dad and mum were well into it. When Jeff Duke was doing, do you know what I mean? Doing
him and Hellwood were all heroes.
And then Hellwood and Agostino were my heroes, but I used to go there as a kid. We stayed in a holiday camp called Housestrake, which was at the top of Onken. And if you go up there, you can still see the old swimming pool. And they were like little chalet things, but at the time, everybody were there on their Triumphs and BSAs and that, parked outside with all the glittery tanks, and they used to have like that metal flake. Everything was painted in metal flake. So I were there, and mean, Mum and Dad used to go and have a beer or two and leave me with my grandma, and I would just, left with my grandma waiting for them to come back. But then as I got a little bit older, I used to walk from top of Onken down to, it's where the grandstand is now, but it wasn't scrutineering, it was called weighing in. That's what it used to be called. It used to go for weighing in. And they'd go in a tent on a ramp, and it was scrutineering, but once it's scrutineered, they'd to go in a tent and you couldn't touch them at all. Like now we go into Park Ferme, but they were like locked away and they couldn't touch them until, I don't know, I forget how long it was before they could have access back to the machinery again. But Aylwood were there and Agostini and that, and I were just, they were like what's that fencing called? That's paling, that.
Paling.
Paling fencing, and I were just there like gawping at these bikes.
And
it grew from then, didn't it?
And it grew from there, yeah.
And it was just you walking off by yourself, no one taking you with you?
No, and it must be about 2 miles from up there, and I wasn't so old, and off I used to go and just... Yeah,
Did you sit there thinking, I'm going to do this one day? Or was it like most of the kids where they just think, wow?
Yeah, just wow.
You're just in awe of it all, aren't you?
And then when I went, chance to go in 88, I went with David Burgess as my passenger. You probably know the Burgesses are fairly famous. And one of my sayings was, we're here and we're doing it. Both of us, we just couldn't believe that we was at the TT.
Dream come true.
Dream come true, by then. And I was number 99. And there was 103 sidecars started.
Wow.
And now they're probably 35 this year.
Oh my God.
But where did you finish in that race?
I came fourth in that.
By heck.
So,
sorry, was that your first race and you finished fourth?
Yeah, but it was a split class, Dom. There was thousands and 350s.
For the people who are just getting to know you, I feel like I've known you a long time now, and just you see how he immediately downplayed himself. Hold on, Dom, I did just win a world championship, but everyone wasn't really on their day, on their form at the time, and everyone, he didn't have quite. He's having a fight with his missus. He was thinking about that back at home. It wasn't him. Like, you came fourth at your first heat. Yeah. So you split class shite. Why didn't you get third?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you why I didn't get third. It started raining and I backed off a bit. And seriously, Desi Founds come third and I come fourth.
Was that actually hard to accept? Were you aware? Did you have pit boards? Did you, your first time there? Were you quite what? Talk me through this.
Not really. No, it just come in and somebody says, "You come fourth, but you're nearly third. Get out of it."
Was it the presenter of Bullseye? Look what you could have won. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So and since then it's just been fantastic.
Do you remember your first lap? Can you remember? Because I think everyone remembers their first lap, don't they?
Your first ride.
I was
sitting third.
Yeah.
I was waiting to go out on the ramp. Do you know what I mean? That's how I used to go out there. And in front of me was Roy Hanks, and I couldn't believe that I was there with Hankses and then me, number 99, and off we went. And yeah, amazing. But I'd done a lot of work. I mean, I've been there since a kid, and I don't think I did it as work. I just driven round and just loved it. And do you know what I mean? I didn't think, right, I'm going to go and learn the TT. I'm going to learn, but because I'd been there a lot and seen a lot, I knew quite a bit. But David and I did have a weekend over there with a video camera, and that was so funny. Because in 88, they weren't like what we've got now. Do you know what I mean? A big thing. And he sat in front of this Fiesta or whatever it were with this camera. We went over Ballaugh Bridge. And all we saw were roof of this car and then down, and we just laugh away right through to Corrie Ben's just about. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Look at a couple of Russian spies going around the Alabama with these big cameras.
And then when we brought it home and tried to watch it, it was just so funny.
I bet you felt seasick.
No, I was driving and he was videoing, but it was just, honestly,
mega.
Great times. We had morning practice then, and then, you know what I mean, you'd come in and there were a tea tent, you'd stop and park outside the tea tent.
Ladies' haven.
And go in, and there were
Ladies' Haven.
That's what it was called.
This sounds
yeah.
brilliant.
And
Let's
you
talk
get a
about
sticky
it.
bun.
Like a free brew in a bun.
Yeah, you get a sticky bun or something
tea.
and a cup of
Yeah.
tea and in this tent, and then everybody was parked up there chatting about their lap and everything. It was
So
great.
instead of going back to your own tent,
You all went
leave
back
your
together.
bike and you all
Yeah.
went into there
Nice.
and like just talk it over the crack.
so
but, you
so
know.
different. I'm not saying it was
Yeah.
now's any worse, but it was different.
Yeah,
then, you know what I mean?
different.
You know what?
More sociable, I think it was
Yeah.
then.
It sounds better. I'm going to say that.
Yeah, well,
I'm so-
in
I'm
some
so-
ways.
No, I agree. The problem is whenever you make something more, not sound like one of them wankers in a suit, but when you make something commercial,
Yeah.
it changes the job, doesn't it? And it goes from being what it was to having
more
a
corporate.
corporate. Yeah, it's-
People want to see the rawness, and that's what the TT delivers.
Yeah.
And for me, like Joe, we're all four of us in this room have competed. And I tell you what, I feel like we haven't actually fully introduced you. You know, you've both done the TT, you've done World Championship Sidecar, you've won TTs. You know, trust me when I'm saying, listeners, these two are not mugs. Like you, and there's John putting his head down yet again. That you two are too humble for your own good yet, but all seriousness, it is absolutely fantastic to have you on. Chrissy would be over the moon to have you on, and it's just absolutely class. And the fact that you're a teacher as well in the room is even better. But we're going to go down your story as well as John's.
Yeah.
But like, let's talk. I want to talk a bit more about those early practices, because you know what? We'll never. I remember pushing my dad's bike up at the Manx Grand Prix at Classics and pushing him down the road at for morning practice. And for me, that was proper Isle of Man. You know, the sun was coming up. People are still just brushing, like wiping their asses and brushing their teeth in the morning, and all they hear is bikes go wham down Bray Hill.
I used to love it when you were lying in the tent and you,
That's it for me.
as a kid, lying in your tent and you hear morning practice going on. It's amazing. And me personally, I'm not a morning person. I would never have been able to get out of bed and go and do an early morning practice. Fortunately, when I started, early morning practice had stopped. But in those early morning practices, I think that's when more of the seagull strikes happened as well, wasn't it? You don't hear quite of so
Not
many
as much now.
seagull
Bird
strikes anymore.
yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah, they were more in the morning kind of thing, but no, I'm glad. I mean, yeah, it's good because you get 2 bites of the cherry. You get a morning practice and then an evening practice.
That was a big plus, because usually one end of the day the weather's not so bad, but if you're waiting just for an evening practice, it can go tits up, can't it? Weather can be
Weather-wise, yeah.
It's
weather-wise,
no,
and 2 bites of the cherry, like Lee says.
It's no secret that sometimes the sidecars are the ones that get their track time sacrificed.
Not just as much. They do.
Gary's worked really hard,
Yeah.
hasn't he, with trying to give as much advance warning as possible and put alternative plans in place. But it's not just us that it affects. It affects the whole country or the whole island, rather, doesn't it? But it is a country.
It is.
Yeah,
100%.
So, So
you get it. I mean, you solo lads, you could have 3 or 4 bikes you want to try and qualify on. We've just got one, so you can see why it's.
But that must be more frustrating.
Oh, it is, yeah. When you get one bite of the cherry, really, don't you?
But that's it, you know. If you're very lucky, you get three bikes. You know, 2 lots of practices. You know, sometimes you mix them. But
Was it the same with the morning practice though? Did you find was it the same? You boys usually and girls were the first.
Nicely covered. Nicely covered.
He was a man.
Well rescued.
You can tell Joe's
I
married.
didn't do the morning one, so you're all right.
Were you the first to get sacrificed with that as well?
Well, we probably were, but it's not something that sticks in my mind that, we were always, poor relations. But, that didn't seem to happen. I don't know why.
Do you know the first year that they said, right, we're not doing morning practice anymore? Did you think, shh?
No.
Or was it
I wish we was. I missed it, yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were good when they said you're not going to be doing it. You're like,
But bear in mind, like to our listeners, that is still a possible plan. You know, every time we go to sign on, you know, it's like, and I'm like the only bloke, like on the solos, I feel like going morning practice, come on, bring on a morning practice.
Yeah.
Like I want to have such a shit practice week where they have to roll us up at 5. I'm this irritating at 4 a.m, never mind 4, like, you know, at 8 o'clock in the evening. I am 100% twat all the time.
What you're on, please?
Some bit on the side, that's what you need, but we'll get talking about that later on.
But it was very hard getting up at 5 o'clock when you've been into Cunard till 2 o'clock in the morning anyhow. So
Mate, you're not
that
wrong.
was what it was like as well.
Because
Early
there were
days.
some sidecar hotels down in
Yeah,
like the Walpole. There was a lot of sidecar
or the
teams used to
Cunard,
live in and
A sidecar hotel.
Mick Boddice, the Burkhams, the Binghams.
Walpole, yeah.
They were all down
And
there.
people-
I think Kenny Ells might have been as well, possibly. Yeah, they
It's
used to
so
stay
different
there.
than now. It was so more laid back and
The good old days.
Well, I don't know. They're good. They probably weren't, because if you'd had a few beers, you were off down Braille. It probably wasn't a good old days. But it doesn't seem. It didn't. Looking back, it wasn't wrong, but obviously it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but then that's.
But that's how it was then, sorry, isn't it? That was accepted of that time, and that's what worked at that time. And you evolve to survive, don't you? You have to evolve to survive.
They must have been doing something right when there was over 100 sidecars.
It's outstanding, that, isn't it? Blows my mind. 100,
Yeah,
103
so,
sidecars.
I remember watching my first Manx Grand Prix with my father, and they were adding Scaffy onto the board, the start number boards.
Yeah.
And it was I'm gutted they got rid of that. The timeline. But yes, we've got to, yet again, arse covering, backpedaling, yet again, Dominic. But, you've got to move with the times. But that board was iconic. Was it on slate? Was it on slate? Well, it would have been slate.
I've actually got one.
Painted wood, and they used to paint over the wood and then paint the numbers on and then paint it all black again and repaint the positions and the times or whatever it was.
And the only time scouts are useful.
They got all the badges.
When's the last time a house was on fire and you thought, I can't wait a scout to turn up, you know what I mean? And the man comes round, roll the buggers out, you know what I mean? You hold the flag, you smile, you wave, and you write shit on slate. You've got one job. In this country, we haven't got that. There you go. We're going to put the world of rights here tonight, Joe. 100%.
I'll leave you to it, Dom. You're doing a grand job.
100%. I'll tell you what, before we get carried away down, the politics element, now, we heard your story, going off to the Isle of Man with your grandparents and going on holiday.
Yeah.
What was your first memory of the Isle of Man?
Oh, gosh. Running around the paddock as probably a 10-year-old with the Founds family. It's like Pete, Alan, Chris, Steve, the brother as well, and the Muldoons and the Burkhams and the Binghams and Craig Hallam, God bless him. Yeah,
so
we were all
sidecar.
Yeah, all sidecar crew. We were like hang out together, kind of thing. It was mega. And Dad was racing then, so I think 86 was probably Dad's first TT there. So I've grown up with racing my whole life, and I've just always wanted to do roads. Like, roads is the ultimate drug. It's the ultimate high when it's high, and obviously it's the ultimate low when it all goes wrong, tragically, sadly. But I started racing in 2003. I got uni out of the way, started teaching.
Spoken like a true road racer. Just get that education shite and just put that over there. Right, now the fun stuff.
This is what we do.
Yeah. But the thing is...
She's a teacher.
Class.
Kids loved it anyhow.
They did. It was like... We would as teachers, you're there to inspire and to evoke questioning people, young minds. And so, like, when I was teaching year 5 and 6, I'd be away racing, and I'd bring the result sheets back from a race meeting, wherever it was we were at. And in a maths session, we'd do we'd have all this data, and we'd do like the mode, median, mean and range of this set of data and do graphs and all sorts. And the kids
just so you can work out where you need to go faster.
That's
Miss, John needs to make up time in Glen Helen by 3 seconds to get the lap record. I'm making it up.
But then it was like, what they really got a kick out of was, I know Miss's real name. She's called Fiona. My teacher's called Fiona. Miss, are you called Fiona? Miss, is that you? And it's like, and they loved it. And then when we did the Euro Cup in 2006 at when we did the season, the championship, after each round, we'd do like a video and bring it back to school, and all the children would watch it. And when we won the championship that year, we brought the trophy back in, brought it back into school when it was the summer fete. And brought the sidecar in. Dad brought the sidecar down to the school, and kids had their photos on the sidecar, like a pound a shot, helping raise money for school funds.
Brilliant.
So, and they loved it. It was a different way, it it is a different way of life, just another element to the, you know, the makeup, the varied makeup that we've got of society, our environment, kind of our bubble, as it were.
See, like you say, you were brought up in this world. You know, it was almost like, do I dare say it, destined for you? You know, and the fact of like, you know, if I want my life to continue, you know, I need to be involved in this.
I didn't know anything different, and I still don't know anything different. Dad was gutted when I didn't want to be a driver.
Really?
Yeah, I never wanted to drive. I'm happy going around on the roads on the back of a motorbike. I used to go water skiing. I'd be happy on the back of the boat, and I'm happy on the sidecar. I can go as fast as you like on a sidecar, but put me in control of the handlebar or the throttle.
It's not your thing.
No,
really?
no, but I can go as fast as the person I'm with, and I can encourage them to go faster. I can help them to go faster, but me to do that, no.
Wow.
What am I going to say, John?
You're going to say, have you passengered?
Have you passengered?
I have once.
And?
No, not really. Well, I think I was pretty rubbish at it, to be fair.
No.
Who did you passenger for?
Oh, good
A
question.
bloke called Jeff Laycock, and it was at Longridge. I don't know if you... There was a circuit near Preston at Longridge, and now it's a caravan park, but it was in a quarry. And there was like a road around this quarry, and I passengered for Jeff there.
So you haven't actually done okay, hate me for saying this, but
you haven't really done it.
Yeah, you haven't
really done it. I did that day, but no, he didn't want me as a passenger or rubbish.
Is that as a driver, you just the control thing? You need to be in control?
No, I don't think so.
Or you just thought, I don't want to be hanging on to this.
I don't think I'm just right for it somehow. I don't think I could just
You're a driver build, not a passenger build.
It does take a certain...
mentality.
Lunatic to be a passenger, I think.
You have to be so agile.
I've done it once on a grass track.
Well,
that's nuts.
Mega, that is nuts. Yeah.
And unfortunately, I got on with a lad who's fairly handy and done the British Masters a few times. Wow. And I said, just go steady, because I don't like not being in control. And you lads don't understand that, do you? Because you
no.
If you're stupid enough to get on.
Red rag.
Yeah, you better hang on.
Sorry.
Fucking hell. It's good fun, but when afterwards I just thought, so
we did Alton Park together, didn't we?
Yeah.
On an LCR, and I'm used to the Baker chassis, being a Baker. But I did it on the LCR with John, and the bottom chicane. I've always found the bottom chicane really hard. Coming out of that last left to the right to go up Clay Hill, I hate it. And
the LCR's a nervous chassis mind.
They are. They're not. Yeah. Anyway, we won't go into that.
Oh, we will.
We won't go into
we
the
are
politics
now.
of how fabulous a Baker chassis is.
Yeah, but you didn't need to hit me that hard.
I thought
we are talking about this right now.
I felt like a pea on a tin tray.
We won, though, didn't we?
And that's what you said. We won, didn't we? But I think I bruised you, didn't I? I was like, excuse me, slow down. Because I didn't think I was going to make it out of the corner.
And you were mad.
I was mad with you.
I had to make me own tea that night.
Gosh, the thing is, you've been making it ever since.
that one glory, that was the win worth it, John.
Yeah, it's always worth it, isn't it?
Good.
Cross that line first.
But going back to the TT, I started racing in 2003, and I did my first TT 6 months later in 2004. So I'd only been racing 6 months, straight into the British Championship. Dad and I were doing Scottish Championship. Then we joined with Mick Harvey to finish the British Championship off in 2003.
Is it the same as solo that you had to do so many short circuit meetings before you could do?
Yeah, like you got to get your national.
Yes, was that the same? Yeah,
exactly.
Right.
Yeah, you got to get your national, and then had to be seen because I'd only been racing 6 months. Had to be seen as well, but because I'd done so much with Dad at a British Championship level already, they were happy that she didn't have a screw loose.
So as a passenger, you have to go through exactly the same process as the drivers and the riders do. It's right.
Because I've only done 8, but you have to do it in a certain time period, don't you? I've got 8 signatures on my passenger licence.
Oh, hang on a minute.
Oh no!
Hey, hang on a minute.
Oh no!
We need a bit on the
we're getting that out in a minute. Don't even worry about that. Don't even worry about. No. I've done a fair bit. I've done Croft, Cadwell. I've done. Oh God, I was so close to the Southern. You know, Mike. Do you know Michael Kirkup?
Yes.
He's a local. Yes. He's a local lad to here, and we were that close to doing the Southern together. And I'm gutted he never got to the Isle of Man because I did Croft British round with him. Now that was my first time in an LCR, but I've Nick Jukes,
Yes,
Nicky
Nicky
Jukes,
a passenger.
yeah.
Do you know Boris Stroud?
Boris. Yeah.
Boris,
Oh,
our
he's
passenger
a
fit.
gent.
What? No, he is. Scotland was named after Boris.
Right.
He owns Scotland, I think. doesn't he?
He is. He's like, now a little bit of a background check on Boris. He's built his own company, but a very, very industrial, wealthy company. But he's so passionate about keeping sidecars, and he
Alive.
buys teams outfits.
Right.
Now,
And races them.
and races himself. And now Boris can hit me all he wants, and if he hits me, he'll kill me straight out. So I know this is a safe thing to say. Boris isn't a front runner. If you know what I mean, when he looks at like Lee Crawford, and you look at the Birch, look at yourselves, and you look at that elk.
He's
Boris isn't on
passionate.
that pace. He is unbelievably passionate, and like his wife from America, and he's
Bonnie. Yeah.
Bonnie, what a lovely
She's super. And she passengers as well.
Well, I got the gig shit. Like Boris chucked her out, and like when you sit like on North East meetings and like club meetings, you'd always get a meeting call. Can anyone passenger? It's like every meeting and and the only reason I jumped in to do it is me mum always wanted to do it, and every time this
Wow.
tannoy came out, remember the charity? Did they even do the charity
The
rides?
Dover Sidecar rides.
That's good to hear.
Cadwell, Mallory.
Cadwell, they do it.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. So, like, for people who are listening to this
Sidecar revival.
and want to have a go at it, you can, you come in, pay your ticket, and you can, for charity, this money goes, and these psychopaths, and I mean it, like, and you can pick your mode. You can go slow, fast, or John Holden. he'll risk a divorce to get a lap time. That's what I'm talking about here. But you can come along, put your money down, and it goes to a good cause. And I thought, you can imagine both me and my dad race bikes, and we've always, come on, man, just go on. You regret things you don't do. Like, no. And I went, look, I'm going to have a go at it. But the first time I did it was I never even met Kirkup. And it's like, I went to the office and said, I go on then, I'll have a sign up. And here's the last one. Like, you Dominic? I went, aye. Right, get on. So I was on my 1000. I got off and I got on the sidecar. And have you ever done this before? No.
I didn't knee slider on.
I had everything on. And like, there's me going, I can't be this hard. You've got any grip. Like, I'm on the start line. And I'll never ever forget this, because you've got to lean back to get the weight on the back tire to get the grip. And I remember Kirkup's big Durham hand pushing me back, and I'm thinking, how am I going to grip onto this car? Never mind it, because I'm leaning on him, ready for turn one. I watched YouTube after I agreed to it, how to sidecar passenger, like lean out, do this, do that, and he literally just pushed me back to get the grip. I was like, and we went from like last to like 7th. And there's just chairs up in the air, and then I had to like you say, I came in, I nicked a pair of my dad's Style Martin boots that he bought for 20 quid, knee flexing him, took me knee sliders off. I was like that. I took my back protector out. I'm like that. I'm just standing there like a pro, and the next time leaning back. I'm like, but I desperately would love to do a lap of the TT, mind.
Parade lap.
No, bollocks to that. I want to do a race. Oh no, I don't parade. I want to do a race. I would like, what's his name? That's terrible. I've totally forgotten his name. Mike, is it Russell?
Mick Russell. Jack.
Is he still trying to do that? Or has he achieved it? He's trying to do.
He did it last year.
Last year he tried to do every class.
Yeah.
That takes some doing, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Takes some doing 2 or 3 bikes.
Some backing as well.
But like,
to have the infrastructure around him as well.
But
to do it.
But even to go back to like what you two go through, it's like when you look at a sidecar, anyone who's listening to this who's got any curiosity about coming to see, you have to see your knees are on a pad like that thick. You lean over your tank, the airbox is involved, you can't move, and the passengers
getting the worst plumbing job in the world. It's like trying to plumb a backseat into a water butt, while blindfolded. Yeah.
But like it's
hair dryers inside.
2.5 inch off the floor.
At 160 mile an hour.
But it feels
no seatbelts, no airbags.
You've kind of got the worst of. At least in a car, you're protected, aren't you?
And
that is the thing. There's no protection. Yeah. If it goes wrong, it goes wrong proper, doesn't it?
And you're sort of stuck in there, aren't you?
We learn. When we every winter we always watch the onboards just to get your head back in it and your eyes up to speed at going that fast. Because you get out of your brain slows down when you're not at the Isle of Man. So watching the onboards, you're getting your eyes and your brain up to
Even though
speed,
you know
just
where you're
reminding
going,
yourself.
it just keeps you,
Yeah.
gets the speed, coming back at you, doesn't it?
Well, one year I was watching it and a friend came round whilst I was watching it, and she said two things to me that have stuck with me forever, and I know I've probably told loads of people, but the first thing she said was, "Why are you watching it on fast forward?" And I said, "Well, not this is it, you're joking." He said, "This is fast forward." I said, "No, this is..." And this was like a Monday. It was like 107 mile an hour lap. It's just a Monday practice of on board of Dad and of my dad's that we were watching. And then the second thing, she says, "Well, where's your seatbelt?" So we don't have one.
You have the wrong friends. I'm just putting that out there. You need to change it. Like, you need to stay in the sidecar passenger.
It's funny when you say that, though, about the videos, because when I was learning the place, I remember trying to watch a lap with Johnny Barton, and it made no sense. I remember just getting to the bottom of the rail and thinking, I need to just pack in. There's no point in me even going there because I can't process this. And then I started watching a video of McGuinness on a pattern.
Yeah.
And it was like 100
That was the classic pattern, wasn't it?
Yeah. And it was that much slower. You could,
you had
fine.
time, yeah.
But that was right until I did the Manx, and then when I'd done the Manx, then I could watch Johnny's video because then it all made sense.
Yeah.
But it's like when they say to you, you need to watch, to newcomers, you need to watch this video, Michael doing 134. Complete waste of time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your brains can't. You don't know where you're going. You need to watch a nice, steady, slow lap on all the right lines, and then the fast forward ones make sense, don't they?
I tell you what I do find. I've done that many laps round there now, and when I'm out there, I've got to tell myself, "Come on," because I feel like I'm driving to work.
Really?
Seriously, I don't.
That's all
I'm not. I don't feel like I have to tell myself, "Come on, start pushing," because I'm just riding. Do you know what I mean? Even though the times are not so bad, it's weird. It's come on, I need to push. I need to. Squeeze a bit more out of it rather than just riding to work.
You know your TT wins?
Yeah.
How were those laps in comparison to what you're saying now?
No, they didn't feel anything.
That first one was so close. You and Claffey.
Yeah.
Or was it 0.012 of a second?
But you'll know, and you'll know. I come in and my son's usually with me. And I'm coming up the return road thinking that were a good lap, you know what I mean? And he's going. And then when I come in and he'll say, "Dad, you did, whatever get out of it." It's weird how it just
And
do you feel the same?
I think and I'm actually over the moon that you two are going through the same thing. But even that's more interesting from a driver because you're in control of the throttle, the pace.
Yeah.
Can you feel a good lap or a bad lap?
Yeah, you can feel when you're on song, when you're floating from, like apex to apex kind of thing. But it's exactly the same. Sometimes you'll think, bloody hell, excuse me, we did good. And it's like, no, it was a useless lap. And sometimes you think, when you flogged it and you worked hard, it's like, no, actually, you put a PB in.
Do you and the driver generally agree on that as well? Or have you gone, "Oh, that must have been a minter," and they've gone, "No, that's a shit one." And then
passenger usually says we were on it then or something. You know what I mean? I think passenger can feel it more than because they're being taken at that speed, aren't they? Whereas you're like,
it's like coming out of the gooseneck. Like that first double left before you head right. It's like, come on, keep pushing and don't back off at that first left because otherwise you lose your speed for the rest of the run up the mountain. And it's like when we were getting it, it was like, "Yes, Dad, yes, you've got it," kind of thing. That was the only one section you could tell if you were going to have a good lap up the mount, a good mountain section.
Because you could tell by the RPM,
and the speed through that section. If you roll it slightly, that's it. You've lost it, kind of thing for the drag up the hill.
You usually know by, I don't know, quarter bridge whether thing's right or not, whether the bike's...
Or if you're going to have a hard ride.
Yeah, because you're messing...
quarter bridge.
You're messing
We're going to call this Secret to a Marriage, this episode. Bit on the side. When you're for a hard ride.
Very rarely you go out and the bike's the same as it was when you got off it last time. Because you're always trying to get something better out of it, aren't you? You'll stiffen suspension up or you'll change a bit of gearing or... It's never the same. And my George, my team, they play it with me because I'm always trying to get
Always changing something, trying to tweak things to get it
I
better.
don't know whether you do the same or not. You thought.
I think everyone does.
Sometimes you can.
Your competitiveness that you just want to go faster, don't you? Get that.
Yeah, I'll say. I think when you stop doing that, that's probably the time when you do jacking, isn't it? Because you go, it's right enough. You're just riding around, aren't you? When you're constantly saying, well, I'm not happy with this, that's that competitive edge in you, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the
Well, you float round, don't you? I've never floated round. You float round there. And it wasn't until...
Explain it though.
Yeah, no, thank you.
Yeah, that's in your mind. It's so smooth and it comes so naturally.
Don't feel like you're doing it.
Everything's perfect. You know,
You don't feel like
lovely.
Right, it's floated.
You're not on a bike. It's just when everything's right and you're comfy in it, you don't feel like you're riding it. You're just like...
Yeah.
It's just
And I never had that feeling till 2018.
Really?
And every practice session, because the weather was amazing, it was phenomenal that year, wasn't it?
Wasn't
It's a fortnight of solid sun, wall to wall sun.
2018,
We never got as many laps,
I'd
did we?
only broken back in 2017.
You did your back, that's right.
Back in 19.
Oh, what?
So, okay, there's loads of questions leading up to 18, but I feel like we're in this zone about 18. Can we talk about it?
Yeah, of course we can, yeah. And I'll never forgive you.
I know. Robbed him of another win.
We're in lead. And you crashed.
We had a mechanical failure.
All right, sorry. Yeah.
I tell you what, let's get deep and dark into this. Let's talk about the beginning of the day. You know,
Can we go further back than that?
Why? Go on.
Can we go back to 04?
Yeah.
Why?
It's your interview. If you want to go to 04, go for it.
My that was my first TT.
Yeah.
And because Mick Harvey, who was riding with, had done well previously, we set off at number 9 that year.
How many were on the grid that year?
Oh,
Must be 60 or so, wasn't there? Yeah.
That's still a good, strong field.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
What a sidecar, yeah.
And Dad set off at number 10.
Never.
So I set off in front of Dad. So I knew. So yeah.
See you later, Dad. That's for telling me Santa's not real. Spoiler alert, by the way, to all our young listeners.
No, that's because I never got my scrambler.
Yeah, there we go. We'll just edit that last bit out.
You should have bought me a pony. Sorry,
So
carry on.
every night I'd made some and laminated some like posters to stick on the back of the wheel, the back of the fairing, so Dad would see them as we were setting off. So I would have like, turned out nice again. Does my bum look big in this? What's for dinner? And thank you, Marshalls.
Yeah.
And it got
Marshalls loved it, didn't
the
they?
Marshalls loved it. I got bum of the year that year at quarter governors. I think
John's
it was
actually
winner of the
still
year,
sore
not
about
idiot
that.
of the year. But yeah, and when it came to the race, I had a no overtaking sign, like 2 sidecars for a proper no overtaking sign, and that got ripped off straight away.
That is class. Did your dad pass you then? In that race?
Yes. No, not that race. That was the first race. Second race, we caught fire at Hanley's.
Yeah, as far as excuses go, that's fairly up there, isn't it? You know, it's like, you know...
The fuel regulator come loose on the first lap coming into Hanley's. So we had 9 gallons of fuel we had to tip out into the grass. We weren't allowed to keep it. We had to get we pulled into the side onto that straight, into that run into Hanley's.
That's a long way.
I had to run back up the track to go and get a fire extinguisher and shout for them to wave flags. And Mick had to run down the road in the opposite direction to get another fire extinguisher. We had to put the fire out, and it was thick, solid black smoke across the track. So I was directing like sidecars that were coming, the safe side of the track kind of thing. We had to put the fire out with the help of the marshals, wheeled the bike off the road. But yeah, we had a full tank of fuel, had to take it off, tip it into the field.
Can we just separate road racing from short circuits at this point? No, because you're coming through there, coming into Hanley's.
Flat chat.
Now, on a big bike, what we're doing, we're coming into there, you're hooking 2 gears out, and then you're back to full throttle. What is that with a sidecar?
We're rolling. We're just rolling
through Hanley's.
So you've come over, cronk your body, isn't it?
Yeah,
cronk your body, and then you got right, and then you've got a left. Now, is that the 11th?
It's the 11th.
That's the 11th milestone. Now, that is gassing on solo.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
It's down a gear and on the power again, just, yeah.
2 people on a sidecar. How many litres is a sidecar? 42.
I
Go with
only
40
do
litres
gallons.
to start with.
So you start with 42 litres. You do
You've
3
probably
laps.
still got 37 litres by the time you get to there, haven't you?
Yeah.
And you're coming through there. You're on the one side of the road and you're on the other. And how fast are you going at that point?
Must be doing 130 miles an
Yeah,
hour.
I think
yeah.
130-ish, yeah.
And you're running up the road for a fire extinguisher. I'm just painting the scene because you know when
point
people
my
think
hand out because my glove and my arm are on fire just from like the fat, you know, like the natural resins in your gloves and what have you.
I'm sorry. Look, right, I know your dad's your dad first, but a better part of him went, yes.
I think he'd passed me already. I think he'd passed because I think it was a bit of relief that you'd already gone
Yes.
by. kind of thing,
Understandable.
Did he have reservations about you doing it?
Good.
Because as a dad of girls, I've got 2 girls, and I don't know if I'd be.
No, okay, I'm going to reverse that question. Is it worse because you've got girls, if you know what I mean? Would it be worse as your father having his daughter racing or a son? You know,
I bet he was proud as hell when you were in front of him on the line.
Does he? No, I don't mean that horribly.
No.
He just sees you as...
He wished he had boys as opposed to girls, but
You don't treat you
my
as a
sister
girl.
and I don't know where we're going with this, but I was always a tomboy anyway. And my sister, mechanics for dad, and when dad and I were racing, my sister, she still does does all the mechanicking. She does all the Motec stuff. With the engine, not the engine tuning, the
Mapping and that.
no, mapping on the bike. You know, she does the pit boarding. She sorts the food out. She's a trooper, is my sis. Sorry, brain injuries. Where are we? I've forgotten what we're talking about.
Just about your dad and bothered about you as a girl going racing.
Yeah, so proud.
Because I don't mean that in a.
No.
You know, we're in a world where you can't fucking say that, can you? But I don't mean it in that way.
And I've never lived like that. It's
protected.
As a dad, little lads, you think, well, they're going to get bumps and bruised because they're mental, aren't they? They run around. Little girls, you feel like it's my little. As a dad, I need to protect you.
Yeah.
But then in
He's
the
just
same
wanted, always wanted the best, and he's always wanted us to succeed, whatever it is that we've done. I mean, he got fed up of running us around, you know, to like gymnastics or race walking or athletics or cross country, whatever it was that we would do. Yeah, and I'd do something for 6 months.
I know one thing, Pete. He won't be taking you to nail bar at hairdressers, would he?
No.
He'd be taking you doing some mechanical or gymnastic or something, wouldn't he?
I remember my dad cutting my sister's hair.
Perfect.
You know what I mean? Just like the other man, there you go, bugger off, get out.
That's you done.
It's class, isn't it?
Oh, bless. No.
But I tell you what, let's spin that. What about your dad racing? You're setting off in front of your dad, and it's your dad behind you. Were you thinking about him?
Well, you're getting on with your own job, just like when Dad and I race together. You don't worry about what the other's doing. You're there doing your job. You want them to do well, but at the same time, you want to beat them. You don't want anything adverse to happen. You want everybody to finish, but you want to beat them.
But then
It didn't happen, but
then it's not good from my point of view because I'm racing against Fiona and her dad, and they're there, and you got to make a move on them or something, and you just don't want to upset what they're doing or put them in any danger. That's hard work as well,
and that's a very fine balance because you've got to treat everyone like that, but it'll be magnified. Wouldn't
Fiona's just there? Do you know what I mean?
Look at that ass.
There's an emotional attachment in there. There's an emotional attachment that you haven't got to anybody else. You're not married to anyone else on that grid.
You
bit on the side.
But I have that now.
Put it aside, don't you? And you get on with your job. You're there doing a job kind of thing. But now
I have it with my son. George drives a sidecar at British Championship, and I drive a sidecar at British Championship, and you can be going into a corner, and what do you know what I mean? And I'll probably give him the corner where I shouldn't do, but he won't. He won't tell me.
Anybody else you won't give it to?
No.
But
just anybody that's listening out there.
I always remember.
I'm sorry. You don't become John Holden without giving away a corner. Let's put that straight.
You'll have been with him when you're not racing, and you'll have been with him when you're racing. And yes, if he crashed and you're racing, you are worried about it, but you're focused on what you're doing. When you're not racing, your head's in a completely different. And that feeling of panic or despair is amplified. Because I remember the first time racing with a mate and then going and just helping him and him crashing, and that feeling of, fuck, well, it's a crash. It shouldn't feel any different, but it does, doesn't it? You panic so much more. It's
well, when you're out there and there's a red flag that stopped the race, and you know, first thing you do is where's Joy? You know, is it him or whatever?
Well,
do
it
you
was
know what I
like
mean?
you at Germany last year, wasn't it? At Ossersleben, everyone's come in and I'm there. Where's John? Oh, bugger, he's not come round.
Hoping that I've just brought down.
Yeah.
You do, don't you?
Yeah.
And you go into autopilot. You just deal with it. You set your emotions aside. It's like you leave it outside the ring. You leave everything outside the ring, don't you? When you arrive at a race meeting. Nobody wants to get hurt. You don't go racing to get hurt or worse. You go there to live your dream, don't you?
Yeah.
Particularly like with the Isle of Man and.
But that takes us into 2018, doesn't it, P? I'm doing the
Good lad.
editing now.
Good lad. Good lad. Hey, John,
You're in charge, right? We're away. See you in a bit.
So 2018 was the first year for me that I felt every single practice we went out, we were doing. In practice, we did 310 mile an hour laps, and Dad and I.
Not 310 mile an hour.
John, the lady's talking. She did 300 mile an hour. You leave a be.
3 separate 110 mile an hour laps.
I was thinking, I don't remember the record being We'll let her roll with it.
Yeah. And I'd done a 110 in 2016, so that was like, Dad and I, we got like the first woman on a sidecar to get into the 110 club. It's like, God, after all these years trying, it's like achieved a dream kind of thing.
Isn't there only like 35 or in the 110 mark?
Yeah. It is 35, I think.
Yeah.
That just shows
It's like the 130 club now, isn't it?
Yeah, but
the
we've got
110 sidecar club.
Well, now in the sidecars, there's a 115 club, isn't there? And there's only a handful that are in that.
That's what I mean. It just doesn't matter what discipline it is. That is just surreal. But like you say, you're the first ones to get into the 110.
Yeah. After all this time of trying kind of thing. So
that was 2016. You did that first 110.
Yeah.
And then you did 310s in
practice in 2018, and it just felt perfect. It just felt wonderful. And for that first time, that year was the first year I felt like we were floating around, that we finally had learnt it. After all this time, because every time you go out, you're constantly learning, you're constantly trying to get through quicker, faster, make the gear change smoother, slicker, accelerate through.
Was that immediately you thought, or was it a couple of nights in before, there was a few tweaks, it was just straight, you just
straight in 110.
Straight in.
What
just
number
felt
were you?
nice.
Were you number 12?
16, I
Oh,
think.
yeah, 16.
Yeah, 16.
So I'd set off
No,
on number
11,
2.
sorry, 11. Apologies, 11.
I'd set off number 2 on that, behind Ben and Tom.
In the first sidecar race in 2018.
Before they stopped it. And
not that he's sour about it.
but I got to the bungalow and they stopped us there, and I didn't know what were going on, and you crashed, hadn't you?
I didn't know we'd crashed.
Talk us through that.
We'd what were we doing before council yard? We'd caught
Lewis.
We'd caught Lewis and Paddy up because they were eventually going to go on and break down. But we'd caught Lewis and Paddy up, and I was trying to work out whether we'd overtake them into Schoolhouse or Parliament Square hospital curtains.
So you've gone through Conker Trees.
But this is the Ginger Hole section, which is the bumpy. Now, bear in mind, on a solo
Dad's
for us.
favourite bit.
Yeah.
Really?
That's my favourite
Now,
bit as
it's...
well.
Shut up. Okay, right, there's a different breed. We've got an elevated version. That Ginger Hole is horrible. Never mind that on a bacon tray. That is...
Oh, it's amazing.
Really?
Yeah.
So,
is it stable through there? Is it jumping all over the road?
If you've been on a motor,
you've got to lock
it's
yourself
just
in, lock
skipping
yourself
about,
up.
just bobbling about. Do you know what I mean?
Try and keep
For me,
your eyes-
I don't know what it's like on
keep your
side.
eyes level while everything else is rattling
that's
around.
exactly what it's like on a solo.
Yeah.
It's just really interesting here, passenger's element to it, because you're thinking about the overtake when you're not in control.
You're having to preempt
second read,
what he's going to do next.
Yeah. to make sure you're in the right place at the right time to get it round the corner efficiently and to get it round the corner.
So you threw K-trees, through that right, left, then...
And Sky
then you've
Hill
got,
before Milton.
Just before Milton, wasn't it?
The handlebar broke.
Round the left, the fast left before you do Milton.
What broke, sorry?
The handlebar broke. So I didn't know we'd had an accident. Dad had a few seconds kind of thing, and I was working out where we were going to overtake. Next thing, I've woken up in hospital 2 weeks later.
I remember that.
Not knowing what had happened, but apparently the bike had got fired into the banking. Dad got catapulted into a field full of brambles and nettles. Got a complicated broken femur. I hit the tree, got spat back into the track, broke my neck, tore the nerves out of my arm, did something to my leg, smashed my head fairly badly, and got a nice lot of brain injuries that I didn't realise about until a good 6 months after. But kind of thing.
They were talking paralysation.
Yeah,
I've
cut so far through my spinal cord. It's like thousandths of a millimetre, of being paralysed. You look at the scans of my neck, and when you cut yourself, you heal. Your spinal cord doesn't heal. It stays like that forever.
Really?
So I've brought my neck, and I've got a plate in there, but a cage, sorry. But the spinal cord itself... So, can't really race, can't do water skiing. So it's a bugger. And I just want to go racing. So I live it through, John, now.
So at what point did you know that had happened?
Well, they stopped us at Bungalow. There was Ben, there was myself. I think Tim was there. I don't know who else was there. And we're waiting, and Marshall come to me and, "Hey, John, every minute." And... they took me all, the hut there, took me to, it's Fiona and her dad, they crashed. But we think they're all right. I think Fiona's just got soft tissue injuries. So...
That old chestnut.
Yeah, well,
but
it's better that way. It was played down, and I'm pleased it was, because you don't need sensationalisation.
No. So I waited there, and I'm trying to find out what was going on. And then they decided to let us go back.
Reverse course direction.
No.
Oh, I saw you on the other side of the accident. You would have come home the normal way,
So they took us back to the grandstand and hung about there for a while. And they come to me and said, "Look, John, you've a choice here. You either race again, or we'll take you straight to Nobles to see Fiona." I said, "Well, how is she? What? She's all right. She's talking, and she's soft tissue injuries. She'll be all right. Don't worry." I said, "Well, I'm going to race then."
And I wanted him to race, if that makes sense.
So
if I knew anything, I would have wanted
it. It was about 2 hours. You probably
3 hours.
3 hours. We were hanging about for... Anyhow, I went again, but I was saying about changing things. So then I'm thinking, I'm sure it was just under-geared or whatever. So I changed the gearing. And it's not just saying it. I was in the lead. Birchells were just... I could see them. They were there. Do you know what I mean? So I caught Ben and Tom up. And then they stopped it. So I thought, I'm going to have to just change something. So I did change the gearing and come second. Didn't go again. I don't know what they did. Ben just found something and away he went. But so then TT organisers, as soon as I got off the bike, they took me to Nobles. So
they were great, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were great.
And I come to see you, and you're a bit out of it and one thing, and they're probably on morphine or whatever. And I thought, she's going to be all right.
I threw up over you twice, though, didn't I, apparently? And then when I got to Nobles, Aintree, they've helicoptered me over to Aintree.
In how short? So you spent a few days at Nobles?
No, it weren't. No, it weren't long.
Was it not?
No.
All right. I got medical.
So generally they get you out of Nobles. I think it was same day for about 3 hours.
Yeah.
And they had me in London.
And a nurse went with you and one thing and another. And and I stayed because that were race 1, weren't it?
Yeah, and then you come to see me over in Aintree, didn't you? And because I was in so much pain, they had me on so much medication, and that's why I didn't know anything for a fortnight. But apparently, I was trying to drive the commode around the road, being a Formula 1 driver.
Once a racer, always a racer. There you are.
But it's mad,
John, we've got
isn't
some bad news. Your wife's lost her marbles, but she's still got it. Oh, that's my girl.
But it's mad, isn't it, how you can... Fiona's led in hospital and you can put that somewhere in your head, can't you?
You just get on with what you're going to do.
And get on with what you're doing. And
Bizarre, isn't it?
I don't...
It's not normal.
I think a lot of people are same. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
How can you do that?
Yeah, you have to be so switched on as racers, don't you?
Yeah.
You have to be uber switched on because you've got so much that you're in control of that's happening all around you, and you've got to adapt constantly to the situation that you find yourself in.
But I think a lot of that goes back to that thing of you've been preparing for that for 11 and a half months, haven't you? And subconsciously, that's all you've been preparing for.
Yeah.
I tell you what, Joe, I'm going to push that even a little bit further. The fact that when you got married, the pair of you were both in sidecar racing, and you're both doing the TT. That moment must have been in your mind the second you met each other. You know what I mean? No, you both raced the Isle of Man.
Yeah.
You know, that thought of one of you were going to get a phone call, potentially. And unfortunately, you got the stick of it, and you almost won. How does that feel? I'm joking. But seriously though, you know, that moment, like you're saying, you're preparing for it, and the thing is, this sport, especially the TT, and you put everything into it. It is truly a lifestyle. You know, you're talking about growing up in a tent. You're pissed off from grandma to go to watch it.
You are able over there to just remove certain parts of it because it isn't just some people that play football or tennis, that to them that's a hobby and a sport. To us, going motorbike racing is a complete way of life. That is the centre of the universe, isn't it? And when you're doing the TT,
you go to the edge of reason, and then it's when you go beyond into your zone when you're really on edge, where you're on that fine line, aren't you? And I think it's when you feel most alive.
Yeah.
Probably if you did drugs, it would be when you were on your highest.
Yeah.
But racing for us is the drug, isn't it? And that's when you feel that elation. So when you're doing well at the TT, oh my gosh, it's the class A of drugs kind of thing. But when you break down or worse, it's like
not with a condoning drugs for you, but
no.
In fact,
I think
leads us nicely.
Yeah, leads us nicely to the bit on the side.
Oh dear me. It's all right talking about me having the crash, but you don't go racing to crash.
No.
You accept that it could happen, and you deal with it, and you don't sensationalise it. You just get on with it, and it's part of. Unfortunately, you get used to it.
Here's a question for you then. So, as husband and wife, there's a certain challenge and tie and feeling and emotional attachment there with the TT and both competing. How does that change with George doing it?
It just adds to the recipe, as it were.
I like that.
Is it different? Do you feel a sense of responsibility? Because you weren't responsible for Fiona, and you weren't responsible for John, and I'm not saying you're going to be responsible for George, but as a parent, you do feel responsible, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you want him to do well. You don't want him to get hurt. You want him to excel. And
just got to.
It's true. The reason I asked the question, I don't think we've had a husband, wife, and son that all go to the Isle of Man. Who's ever.
Yeah.
When we interviewed Neil Mackenzie, it's the same thing. Talking to him about the level he's been at, and then having to go through it then with his kids. You're in a different position. So for you guys doing this with George going, it's another it's a very unique thing.
It continues the legacy, doesn't it?
I think it's brilliant.
We're building now for his debut 25. Do you know what I mean? He's got the bike and that, and all I can try and do is install. Well, I don't need to really, because he's been there outside of me
all his life.
He's seen how I do it,
and
he's probably helped me do it better than I would have done myself. Do you understand what I'm saying? He's been there as a little lad, and he's grown up with it, and he's such a good thinker, and he's good at mechanicking, and he's good at prepping bikes,
isn't he?
And he's not stupid. So I think I'm just I'm quite
You've bred a
happy
you're
with
at
it.
peace with it. Yeah,
I'm at peace with it, yeah. And anything can happen to anybody, and anything can happen to anybody doing anything, can't they? Anywhere. So I've just got to try and make sure that we've crossed the I's and dotted the T's. Is that it?
How old is George?
He's 30 now, so he's funny. He sent me a photograph 5 years ago. He was at near. Where did he go for a start? I can't think of the place. Not Blyden. His first ride out when he went
Was it not
Teesside.
Oh, Teesside.
He went to Teesside.
Exactly like Ginger Hall, by the way.
Yeah. His first ride on the
wink on the side of the
5 years ago, like last week, and now this year he finished third in British Championship, and he was doing really well. So
and he finished really well in his first year at BSB, didn't he? Really high up there. He's got lots of potential, hasn't he?
he's fast. He's faster than me.
Ooh.
He is, definitely.
Now that's quite a statement. Now, bearing in mind, ladies and gentlemen, John Holden Jubilee clips himself to a sidecar to open the throttle, and he thinks I don't remember these things, but I have seen you do it. It is just like bearing in mind, he gets in his Smarty Tube, which is a screaming missile of a motorcycle, and he just wear your gloves. Now, bear in mind, like sidecar races and passengers, you're not wearing like knuckled, heavy up gloves. There's not. They're like motocross gloves with such thin leather. It's all about feel.
Well, if you look at my hand, Dom, that's Southern 100.
He left that behind at the Southern.
Right.
So
which corner?
you go down the bomb hole and then up over the hill, and Nigel Connell was crashing in front of me.
He flipped it, didn't he?
Yeah, he would, and I slowed down. Klaus Klaffenbach was at side of me. I were in second or third. And then Greg Lambert ran in the back of me and knocked me into the wall, and my hand's going down the wall and just about ripped that side of
into the radiator.
That side.
So there's no knuckle left there.
So it's up here somewhere, yeah. But
they were going to amputate that.
Yeah, they were going to take that off. I mean,
he was pulling the pins out to go racing again.
Went to Pembury and I had these pins in. I couldn't get my glove on, so I said to my mate, here, let's get these out. So I got the pliers and whittled them a bit till they got them loose, and then pulled the pins out. And I shouldn't have done, really, because I've ended up with you.
But you did. You said it was a bit too soon, wasn't it?
I just love this sport. Did you have a swig of that before you did it?
No. Well, they were one a little bit loose because I've been messing with them. You know how you do.
Hurry up and heal.
Like a scab. You're just picking away. Yeah.
No,
I wonder how far in that pin is.
No, but
if I wiggle it, I can just...
but it's a little bit like, when you talk about like adaptation, it's the fact that you explain to people why you had to slip your hand. Like, obviously you got the injury, but explain why you had to put your hand in a Jubilee. No, a Jubilee clip. No,
it's not actually I didn't put my hand in the Jubilee clip. I put the Jubilee clip round the twist grip and then had the tail round so I could, because I didn't have much grip. And
your wrist.
And my wrist doesn't, so I can push the Jubilee clip.
To open the throttle.
Open the throttle, you see, so I can...
It's just fucking lunatic.
It's clever.
It's mad, isn't it?
But the daft thing is, though, that you can't bend your elbow backwards, and I can't move my hand, and it's just normal now.
You don't think about it.
You don't think about it. I haven't thought about that all day. It's just
that's worth saying as well.
You used to drop pints, though, didn't
but I still drop things.
Yeah, that's expensive.
Like a twitch.
Your handlebars aren't in a conventional way. Your handlebars are pretty much
drop bars,
vertical.
They're like that. So my wrist won't go any further than that. So
see,
so I end up rolling the throttle. Imagine that's like the throttle. I end up rolling my hand around the throttle to open.
And then pushing.
Right.
So even now, that's the setup you've got with that.
But just recently with this fly-by-wire,
there's a 2 inch of throttle now. It's there's 2 inch of 2 mil of full throttle and not for John.
Well, that don't help, Don. I've tried all this because
tried short throw, quick action.
You can't. Yeah, you can't.
Sorry, we're still talking throttle.
You can't feed it in then. It's either on or off, isn't it? And that doesn't work.
No.
You know what I mean? You need to be able to feed it in. So
and when you think you're full throttle and you're looking at the data and it's like, no, you're only on 90%, really? Kind of thing, then that's when you really need it.
So just talking of that, so what I do then on fly-by-wire, I can have it at, when it's at 90% throttle, it's actually 100.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether you guys do that, with your fly-by-wire. But
Well, sometimes the superbike lads, I remember the last conversation, God love my, I had with Chrissy at Donington, was he was struggling to get out of the Melbourne Loop. And he said, every time I come out of the loop, the thing just wheelies. It's wheeling all the time. And he said, you know, I'm not sure what we're going to do. And we had like a conversation, then he'd had a conversation with someone else, and that's what they'd done. They'd said, well, when you get to 50%, rather than it putting in 50% power, we'll just put it so it puts 30% power in, and we'll go the opposite way, just to soften it out. And then,
but at CT, when you want 100% throttle and you guys in it, you're going like that, and you're knocking it back 95, you can have it. So it doesn't.
Yeah.
So it is at 100%, even though it won't make any difference to how you ride. He's thinking,
No, it's it's like, and we're involved in the game, but the things that you learn all the time, it's just.
But you've still got all the feel at the bottom.
Yeah, you've got everything
important
there.
feel that you need at the bottom.
It doesn't matter that last, even 10% right at the top, and you can have it gear dependent. So when you're like giving it that, you're not. It's still wound up as if you're holding that throttle.
And it's hats off to you guys on the handlebars. I looked at my dad once and I was nearly sick. I thought, I'm not looking at you again. Just trying to control those handlebars. It's insane for you.
Or is it one of those where the more relaxed you are, the easier
I'm not so bad with arm pump. It's really hips, I think, because you sat there. We've talked a lot Isle of Man, haven't we? But it's the hips. You sat there for an hour without being able to move at all.
That's what I mean. Like, you know what, we talked about it briefly, but it like that the physical abusement now. Like, yes, solos, you're getting tired, the muscles ache, but I'm talking about physical battering.
Yeah.
Now, one of the best things that have happened in the TD, and it's only been around 5-6 years maybe, is the physio team. So they are all
we see each other.
They are volunteers. They are 100% volunteers.
They give up their annual holidays to come over to the Isle of Man.
There's no support from the government, as far as I believe. You know, there's no actual, infrastructural money going, right, you need this. And I tell you what, there would be an uproar. Imagine if all of us turned up and went,
if it was
there has
or something.
Well, no, but like, imagine now if they went, look, we actually haven't got a physio left here. You'd be like, the panic.
And like everything, you need to be relaxed, don't you? You've got to have everything relaxed and everything free and all your toxins out so you can go again.
But the
and they help you mentally as well, don't they?
Absolutely.
They can de-stress you.
Yeah.
Besides what they're doing
from 9 o'clock in the morning through till the end of practice that night, and they work such long hours.
But you're talking about
they're fabulous.
I'm always surprised at how many people don't utilise that surface.
Yeah,
I had a sports massage before I came here.
Yeah.
And I because I have a bloke who comes to my house and I try and religiously have him.
Yeah.
It's just a service, isn't it?
Yeah.
You just keep on top of it.
Yeah, you service your bike. You see, you need
exactly.
Your body, big part, isn't it?
But
you're part of the machine.
But the amount of people that just go, I'm not going in there. So what a lot of shit. And you just think, go and spend an hour. These guys know exactly what they're doing.
They do.
And like you say, your state of mind, just take that little niggle away, just remove that. I think it's an amazing service.
But like every sport is like stepped up that hard now. It's like, I go see Aidan Robinson, ITRM, and there's no room for amateurs in sport anymore. I remember reading that a couple of years ago, and it's 100% right. Everyone's got physios, coaching, mind, everything. Like there is the level. You can't just. I tell you what, I'm going to ask that question.
You've got to have somewhere to start though. Without those people starting, you haven't got a race, have you? You've got to have the people on the grid.
Honestly, I don't think the results would be there. Like you see, your Hickmans, your Dean Harrison using these services, and I think you're sharpening the knife,
fine-tuning your body.
But all joking aside, when you see Sidecar lot coming in, it's a different same meaty marshmallow as we all are, but you are pounded in a total different manner.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's phenomenal. And like this, I cannot big up this service enough, because Fiona, you had your injury in 2018, and I see you in there still, and they still look after you. And
they do, don't they?
Yeah.
If you're feeling a bit
big family,
that's what I mean. And they're like, just because you're not racing doesn't mean you're not part of the sport.
No,
and it's like, get yourself in. That's what this sport gives you. People are so. And me and Joe have had loads of conversations off air, and you can almost be very quickly forgotten about. And Joe's a massive advocate of keeping people talking. People talking to each other, and it's Joe who's reminding us of that. And I think the Isle of Man's almost a concentrated fashion off that.
Yeah.
Just something me and Chrissy used to talk about a lot was the and not to get all deep and meaningful, but like the mental health side of stuff, it's now acceptable to say I'm not in a very good place.
Yeah, only recently, really, in the last few years. To be able to,
the problem is there's always someone who almost discredits it by saying something ridiculous where you do feel daft saying something, but the fact is that what racers go through is, when it's shit, it is so shit, isn't it? And like the places you'll have been, which in turn takes you there, doesn't it? Because you see, you've watched to go through all of that, and you have to go through it with it as it's horrific, and you've got to have people to lean on and talk to, and it's got to be acceptable, hasn't it? You know, me and John, I've spoke about it a million times before, but me and McGuinness, when he did his leg at the Northwest was when I did my back at the TT, and we helped each other through that really shit time. And like John said, he said there weren't many people there for me when that was going on.
You find new friends, don't you?
That he became a very good mate of mine as a result of that, and just having somebody to talk to who it was relatable, who understood at 2 a.m. why I'm laid there feeling guilty and fuck it, you know, it's horrendous.
Can we go back to that? Like, you meet new friends. Like, can we talk about that? That's a great way of looking at it, actually. Like, Fiona's like...
I think you see them, the true colours of the people that have got your back, don't you? That's the difference.
You do, and you learn things about people that you didn't previously know about. And so, you might have already been friends with people, but you have a deeper understanding and a deeper, more personalised friendship because of shared experiences to one extent or another.
But also, how good is it when a message pops up on your phone and somebody's asking how you are, and you think, I didn't expect them to be asking how I am, and how good's that? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
it's okay.
And then some people you do expect to be, you don't hear from them now, whether they don't want to be
pestering you.
I got a really nice message and a video message off Steve Mercer. In 2017.
Wow.
Right.
And Steve, that was exactly that thing where I was like, fucking hell, why? Why is he messaging? You know. And then, as you say, the negative side of it is the people that you would expect to be turned up at your door with lasagna made or whatever. They're not there.
Whether they think that we're all right and we'll be all right. And they don't need to bother so much. Do you know what I mean? Because we're tough racers and we'll just get on with it. And I think...
But that's the difficult dynamic because, beforehand we were talking about your crash and then you're like, right, you're trusting the people around you, you're saying, my wife's all right. And you've put trust in them to go do your job again. And then you would have been upset if he stopped. And then we're talking a higher breed of psycho and we're all in that bracket, But then you get that label, don't you? You think, well, look how tough, people would have heard that story and gone, how tough are these two? Never mind the marriage. That's the thing, you're both together and you've gone through that without questioning. But then you have the bumps, you have the falls, and then it's amazing how you can go from...
Was it hard for you as well?
Once I knew how badly she was, then because then I'm like having a battle in my head. Should I go home? Should I do this? What do I do? Do you know what I mean? And luckily you were happy for me just to carry on, weren't you?
I didn't know anything about it, so...
You said what you needed to say.
Have you ever considered what a normal marriage would be like? Is it?
No, we don't want one of them. How could we have a normal marriage with these?
With this flip-flop.
We've talked quite a bit about crashing, and I don't think we should spend the evening.
No.
But can we talk about one more crash?
No, I want to talk about one more crash.
One more crash.
Just one more. Your last crash.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Let me talk about 2012.
When you borrowed our spare engine.
Yeah, so I won it in 2011.
Were you married at this point, 2012?
No.
We weren't married, no.
No, we weren't.
No.
So I'd won it in 2011. And I thought, we need to go with something different. I were running Suzuki's at the time, GSX 600 Suzuki's. And I thought, right, I'm going to put Kawasaki in because the ZX6 were like the thing on the short circuits. I'm going to put one of them in. Well, over the winter, I put a Kawasaki in, and every time I set off, it just blew up. And I think it was how it was in the bike. The clutch on a Kawasaki 600 is fairly low. And I think it was just aerating the oil. Whereas on the Suzuki, the clutch is higher up, and the clutch wasn't whipping the oil up.
Because was that a flat sump?
Yeah, so we have to have a flat sump.
Yeah, so you take away the sump so the oil's separate.
The sump, so like the clutch is low down, and it was just...
Yeah.
So I've gone all the way through practice. On our first race, it blew up. I got to Braddon Bridge, and I had a rubbish on the TT.
Yeah. You brought down every time you went out, basically, didn't you?
But one of my friends had an LCR like mine, and he was running Suzuki. So we rung up to get all his running gear, everything shipped over, which we did. This was after, so we raced on the Saturday, and then by Monday night for practice, because we had a Monday practice before we raced on Wednesday, I got the Suzuki, your dad's Suzuki.
I was spare stock.
So I borrowed Tony and Fee's engine, and off we went with Suzuki.
So fast.
So set off like a bull at a gate, and Molyneux were the big thing at the time, and I caught him by Ramsey. Went up Waterworks 2, just clipped the bank in.
Ooh.
Because they put Recticel and it just gathered up and spit me right into the wall there, didn't it?
Side, yeah.
So I crashed.
Mm.
And I'm led in the road, and Andy went, passenger. And I'm led there, and I says, we had him though, didn't we, Wink?
Yeah, but that wasn't all that you said. What else did you say?
What did Wink say?
About getting the bike ready.
Oh, yeah. No, and I said,
We had a Wink. That's amazing.
I'd bust my hip, I'd punctured my lung, brought some ribs.
Brought your collarbone. Yeah, because that's what you
brought my collarbone.
Still had space for that.
And I'm led there. We had him Wink, didn't we?
And what else did you say? About the...
Get it ready for Wednesday, we'll be right.
You'll be out for Wednesday. No.
So...
But we'd worked out at the same time that you had your crash.
Yeah,
Dad
exactly.
and I hit Boloff Bridge.
Never.
With the chair wheel and put a right angle in the chair wheel.
Almost, it must have been similar time.
Weird. It was so weird because as we pulled up on the side, we can hear all the marshals' radios, and I could hear what was happening to John.
Really?
Up there, as we just pulled in, yeah. So it was my turn. It was my turn to race back get back down into the paddock and off into hospital in my leathers and to come and see how you were. And
then another funny side of it, they put you on the stretcher in the helicopter, take you to Nobles, and I'm led there, and there's this woman, this nurse, like saying to me, I couldn't hear, I thought I'd lost my hearing, but I'd still got my ear plugged in.
That neck brace thing,
What is it in bed?
What?
Absolutely brilliant. So, what year was your first TT win?
11.
What was your first podium?
6.
What was a bigger achievement?
The podium. When I first got on podium, I couldn't believe that.
That's what.
I got on the podium, and I've had 23 podiums and 2 wins. So we've had a good run at it
so far.
And like that's always been a question I've always been curious about, because I can just imagine getting on the podium for the first time would be was it better than winning? But then obviously winning's tell me.
When you stood there and on top step and they played national anthem and you're looking at that control tower and that's something, isn't it?
The ultimate feeling.
Yeah.
How do you? Is there any apprehension about going back, or it's not something that obviously you wouldn't be doing if you didn't feel completely committed to it.
I just know that probably this year we're not going with something that's competitive enough to be challenging for a top step or a podium. Do you know what I mean? But
you've got to keep this.
But it's
keeping the class alive, aren't you? Bringing an added dimension to it, and a new, untested, as it were, chassis at the TT. They're allowing a wider range of engines into the TT as well. So
you were saying earlier, you're going
keeping
to
the numbers up as well.
No, this year we're on something completely. We're on a KTM.
Oh, yeah.
Now Dave Molyneux was running it last year, And I think he'd done 114 or something. So
He would have, yeah.
it's not too far off where it should be, but it'll be different, and it'll be different for me because characteristics will be so different. But it's good. I think it's good for the sport. It's a new chassis manufacturer. It isn't a new engine, but it's still newish that nobody's, there's only Dave that's done anything with it. So
see, Dave is like the best thing. One of the many good things about like sidecar racing is everything is bespoke.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. There's no two sidecars the same, and like even to put that comparison, like what Boris is doing by supplying them, a average outfit is 40-50 grand.
Yeah,
is that a fair?
Yeah,
price tag on that side of things.
If you're to build what Ben and Tom had, you're probably talking near the 80-90.
Easy. Now, this is like going to lead me on to my next point, because I remember seeing the Birchall car, and they put a different bearing housing for a different linkage system to allow it to pivot more to turn. Now, when they took that chassis that they built themselves and took it to short circuits, they were like on the F2 putting in some serious times against the F1s, weren't they? And you thought, this thing is going to be like, this is the next level. And now when they went and cracked the 120 mile an hour, did they do that on that new chassis?
Yeah, but it wasn't that dual chain. They backed off a bit to where.
So they went back to a single chain.
Yeah.
Which is interesting now, because when you've got a pivot point now, if you look at any motorcycle, your sprocket's by your pivot point. So when you get flex, it's not losing drive. But when you it takes two motorcycle chains, regular chains, to make one sidecar. So when you're going through like heavy compression zones, like bottom of Bray Hill, like bottom of Bagaro, bottom of like bleeding everywhere around the TT circuit, that stretch, and when that's happening, you can't turn. Is that right?
No,
you haven't got the same length of travel that you would have on a solo, have you?
No, you've only got maybe 20 mil on a travel. But the main reason why they were running that chain like that, as far as I understand it, and I might be wrong, they tilted the engine, which lifted the engine sprocket up. Well in the back, so they were lowering the centre of gravity, and that's what they've done. They've kept the engine over. But by doing that, it lifts the chain up. So if you're to run the chain from there to the back wheel, it'd just be wrong. So they run it to a separate,
and then bear it out
from there to the back wheel. That was the theory behind it, as far as I understand. I might be wrong, but
because there's only two teams at the moment done 120 mile an hour. Is that the Founds lads?
Yeah. Pete. Now, Pete had done it on more of a normal bike, which in real terms, I think was a greater achievement than what Ben and Tom did. Well, I'm not saying take that away from Ben.
No, far from it.
And I don't mean it wasn't.
No.
To do that.
All respect.
But big respect to Pete.
Well, it was a board bike.
Yeah.
Because like LCR, the Birches have that, don't they now? Yeah. So obviously they're keeping their part, keeping the sport alive by having, bringing a product to the market. But when you think the Founds have bought a bike, but it just, the chicken and egg situation in that regard, it's a bit like we are all sheep. It's a bit like we've sat down and seen, right, they can do 120 mile an hour in a sidecar. It was only about time someone went and did it again. And you're thinking...
It's like your 130 mile an hour laps, isn't it? It's only time.
135.
That's what I mean. 135s, 136s. It's just that's the progression, the evolution of it. But
there's a big problem with it, though, Dom.
Go for it.
Because the driver and the bike might be able to do it, and one or two passengers can do it.
That's interesting.
But then, if you to try and sign a passenger up now to go and do 120, there's not many can do that.
Because those that are doing that speeds have been together as teams for years and have built up together.
So Ben and Tom, Pete and Jev, the Crow brothers, they might get there. Do you know what I mean? So until
I was going to ask very what impressive. Your thoughts are on those, because obviously they're like the young ones, aren't they? And it's mega to see the talent.
And they've been around the paddock the whole life. They know
they've
got good stock. Good as well,
and they've got good backing. And they're developing the bike similar to what Ben and Tom, I think they've had their engine laid down, and so they're moving along with the times. But whether it's right or not for the class, I don't know.
Interesting.
What do you think caused the decline in numbers, in your opinion? Because I remember as a kid watching Mick Boddice. My dad did a little bit of sidecar before I was born, and we always used to if it was the last race of the support, we as a family we would always stay for the sidecars, and that was. I remember the grids were always they were massive, weren't they?
Yeah.
What happened?
I think the root of all evil is when they split the class up. They made F2s, formed the 2s, and there was F1s. So all of a sudden, there's 2 classes then, and there's only a limited number of sidecar people. Yeah. So that didn't help. But then, if just talking the TT, if the quick lads are doing 120-ish, people to qualify, they struggle to qualify. That means
because of the safety, isn't it? Because of the speeds.
They can't do the 105% or whatever. I don't know whether. I think 107% of third place. Yeah. So if you think, well, if you're going to go there, I'm never going to qualify. Yeah, you won't go, will you?
Yeah.
Where are you in the Birchells and the Founds lapping in 3 laps? Lapping?
No, we're not. No.
Interesting.
Not with 30. I don't know what the cut-off would be as far as we don't want you to lap people, so we'll allow so many on the grid. I don't know what figure it is, Don, but
for you guys, the lapping is even more of a hazard than for the solos.
Yeah,
because
the pace difference.
Well,
the pace difference, the difficulty to pass, and if you're being held up, and the bloke who's 30 seconds behind you don't get held up, is that fair that you've been stuck behind somebody? And
it's not like you can just put a dive pass in there, is it?
But this is the difficulty of the event, because, arguably we were talking at the beginning of this interview was the rawness, and the fact of having the slower element was part of the time trial itself, because when you think the last man off the grid, you've got them coming off the mountain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You're thinking you've actually got to incorporate that into your lap. But then the event's got to adapt in the safety element.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
Me question, how this is spitballing, mind, banging out 120 mile an hour laps. How far do you think they're off lapping?
Well,
for the last lad in 30 odd. I'm thinking how many numbers. Yeah, you know what I mean. How many there could be?
10 seconds a mile an hour into ish. So if they're doing 120 and somebody's doing 100, so it's.
God, we need Chrissy more than ever right now.
we need a school teacher.
Please, mate. Chrissy,
my bang on the head doesn't.
Well, there is a calculation that I'm sure you could get more than 30 on, but I think because they can't qualify, they're not going to do it.
Don't bother coming. Yeah.
It's a dream to get your first 100 mile an hour lap, but it's just.
And it's not easy, that.
Special.
It's not easy.
No.
But will that in turn be potentially the death of the sidecar? No, I tell you what, it's I hope not. I'm a sidecar fan.
Yeah,
you can blame my mother for that.
But how does
I think everybody is a spectator as a fan of the sidecars, because it's just nuts to watch. but you think that shouldn't be doing that with 2 humans strapped to it.
But it's not good for the TT with 30.
Unstrapped, unhinged,
clinging on for it is a spectacle to watch.
It's not good for us. Just 30 bikes going around.
No,
and then 5 drop out. There's 20, 25 bikes, and the spectators are waiting for a few bikes to go by, and once the quick lads have gone through, then it's a bit of it's not good for the.
Well, this is the thing.
The spectacle.
The sport isn't made up on the top 10, is it?
No.
If in the solos the remaining 60 guys said, "Well, Bucky, we're not coming," then it's going to be as successful as the TT0 thing, because nobody wants to watch that and then sit twiddling their thumbs, do they?
And it's what we've got to get away from.
Yeah.
I think, there's going to be a working party. What's going to happen with the sidecars? What are we going to do to make it more attractive?
Everybody wants it to thrive.
Yeah, everybody.
Going to make it more accessible and make it where people think I can go and I am going to qualify, and if I don't qualify, then I'm at least going to get
Because like even with the solo numbers, it's like it's getting reduced. You know, I think that's more the lapping element, and I understand that why, because of the safety aspect. And if they don't, if they don't bring something to the table and say, how can you improve this event? Let's run the event. It has to adapt to do that. But I think with the sidecar and even a little bit on the solo side, it is the qualifying thing. And if people are going to spend that money on an average outfit of 40 grand. To come to the TT, and it's a lot of money to
get yourself.
And do you think you could do like a bit of an incentive through the paddock in the British Championship and through stuff that's going on in Europe, and actively not recruits, maybe not the right word, but do you think there could be something that could be done?
I think
there is, isn't there?
Definitely, but.
It's something you've got to.
I know. Yeah.
Not everyone's a roads person.
It's not like saying, "Oh, come and have a go at Spa."
And you don't have to be.
No.
I've suggested that maybe there could be 2 classes. So if you've got like your, I don't know what word you could call it.
Your elite class,
supers and stock.
Yeah.
And I think we should introduce a stock class.
Yeah.
That. They have their own, not own race, but within a race.
You don't want to call it. You don't want to call it elite, do you? It's It's 2.
But 2 categories.
No, in the British F2, there's supers and what do they call it for? Supers and
cup.
And cup.
Yeah.
So that people with stock stuff, they know they can go there, and they can
when they have
qualify.
the 350s running.
Yeah.
Because the thing is, when you're sat in the hedge, and something comes past you at 110 mile an hour, or it comes past 150 mile an hour. When you're sat in the edge, it doesn't matter.
No.
You're still thinking, fucking hell, that's tramming.
Yeah.
So,
like at the Southern,
you still have a spectacle there.
At the Southern, they have some mixed solo classes, don't they? At the Southern, and you get them mixing with each other, don't you? That's that class and that's that class. They're dicing with each other.
Are the sidecar numbers more at the 700? Than the TT, or is it quite similar? Because I think they're, as far as United Kingdom's concerned, they're the only road. Oliver's Mount. Sorry, you've got Oliver's Mount, Southern, and the TT. Is that all
in the UK?
In the UK.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's quite it's a niche element to it.
I don't think the Southern 100 suffer with not having the numbers.
No.
Which is great to hear.
Yeah.
But you go to like Chimay, and you have got mixed sidecars out on the track at the same time in the same race, but they've got the F1
They just need
podium and the F2 podium, don't they?
Look at the times and allow enough bikes on the grid so that the quick lads aren't having to lap somebody.
Yeah, impinged, yeah. Because everyone's there giving the 100%.
But they're going to have to do something.
Might be different to someone else's 100%.
Maybe you solo lads think different, because I don't know how much you're spending on a super bike or a super stock. I don't know how much you're spending on something like that to get something competitive.
25
Nah.
grand,
Like a Fireblade now, where everyone's going Fireblades, you need 40 grand, 42 grand to get the bike. Never mind the package and everything like that. So the
just to get on the grid.
No,
to compete,
just to get the bike.
Just to get the bike, yeah.
In stock 1,000. You can spend a lot less, but that's a competitive bike, in stock 1,000.
I don't know. You could buy the championship winning bike from the stock from British Superstock this year was 29 grand. And that would be as competitive, in my opinion, as what you could wheel that out this year. It would be as competitive as next. So 20.
Well, for 30 grand, you couldn't buy a competitive outfit.
No.
This year, I've just sold my bike and I had 3 Yamaha engines, 7-speed gearboxes. So, do you know what I mean? Like,
Jesus,
to be competitive. And I'm not the only one. The top 4 or 5 are all the same. And I don't think we need to do something to make it accessible for everybody.
Yeah, keep it alive. To keep the class thriving.
You can't have...
Because even if you split that down the middle between, you say you've got 2 best mates that are rider and passenger, and they say, right, let's go in on this halves. But even if you said we're going to go in on it halves, you're still more than buying that stocker, aren't you?
Yeah.
Each team is very different and very independent, but it's very rare that it's the case. Yeah, it will be the case.
But generally,
in some instances,
the man's steering, it's the man that's footing the bill.
Usually,
yeah.
Is there enough numbers in the sidecar community, full stop?
Yes.
To fill the grids at TT?
There's enough people racing
There's enough people
sidecars.
racing
That's
sidecars.
that is good to hear, because at the end of the day, especially us, yet again being biased road racing, we see that diminishing numbers, and you think that to us from the outside looking in is the reflection upon sidecars. Period. That's how I look at it.
If you look at Bennetts, they have full grids with sidecars.
That's great to hear. That is great to hear.
But the problem is, Dom, that they're not all F2s. They're not all TT bikes.
No.
So, do you know what I mean?
But it's good that,
People are interested in it.
That's
and the
it.
British F2s now.
Yeah,
the British F2
F2s.
grids are all full, and they're introducing. Well, sorry, not introducing. They've always had like the supers and the cup, haven't they? But am I right in thinking they've? No, I'm getting mixed up with BSB now. But at BSB, they've got different categories of bike within the same race, haven't they? So
They've
you
done
can
the
have
same,
your
they
little
split
F2
it again.
and
Yeah, well, they're three
a standard
classes,
long
haven't they?
and a tuned long.
Yeah.
It's good
in
that
the same race.
because, like, to be blunt, like when you think about like the British Superbike campaign, it just shows how they've got their eye on the ball, with the sport in general.
Yeah.
Because they could, to be blunt, they could easily get rid of any class.
Yeah.
That could be the F9, stock 600, anything like that. But they are keeping sidecars in.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, as Joe puts it, I'm putting you right on the spot here, but it's like, it is, the sidecars unfortunately do get the stick at the meetings. How do you take that so well? Oil on the track.
I don't mean it negatively because
We
I'm
are
saying
the
it's
worst
me.
oil dumpers.
When it's
containments.
No. When it's raining, send the sidecars. The sun's low, send the sidecars. You know what I mean? You're like the front line of the French Revolution. Send in the sidecars.
But if anyone, generally speaking,
just get on and do it, don't
anyone's going to get the shit end of the stick, it's you guys.
Usually, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's how I mean it. I don't mean it in a negative
and
way.
we do,
It's
but
just stating a fact.
When they're racing, we're getting a chance to race.
We haven't much option really. We've no weight to say, well, no, we're not going to come
with
unless
BSB, you weren't the last race a lot of the times, were you?
we're not.
You got pretty
Yeah, that was quite good.
Depends whether they want to get us out at wear or not.
Well, it depends how much oil they want to tidy up, doesn't it?
No, but it's important that the sport is still.
I think,
It's still
interesting. It's got to be interesting, hasn't it?
100% agree. 100% agree. But I tell you what, this leads us perfectly on. So we've got a Patreon page, and without the patrons, the show wouldn't be going. Really wouldn't be without the sponsors as well. But we've got the first question here from Paul Bennett to both of you. Favourite track section and why, with regards to freewheels over 2?
At the TT or anywhere.
You know what? Anywhere. What's your favourite part of any circuit anywhere in the world?
Do you want me to go first?
Yes, please.
The fact that
my brain doesn't work that very well anymore. You put me on the spot.
I think short circuit, Alton Park, going up Clay Hill, that fast right, and then what's the next?
Druids.
Go that fast left and then
into the
that's a magic section for the sidecar.
Be fast through there, for
Yeah,
you
it's
guys,
fast,
isn't it?
yeah.
And then over the little brown exit. Yeah.
That's and then the TT from Ginger Hall to Ramsey, without a doubt.
I can't believe you. Like, are you? What about you, Fiona? Are you Ginger Hall? How the fuck?
Top to bottom of Bagara. I like that. Top to bottom of Bagara. And where Colin Buckley and Robbie Shorter crashed just after Ginger Hall. No, before Glen Trammond. You come up, you've gone double left at Ginger Hall and you go up and down before it's that left into that right.
That's
it's it's got its own little name. Come on, Robbie, you know what it is.
What is that?
That's my one of my favourite bits because you're hard on the brakes, then you're straight off, and we get clattered over the curb, and then you're off round. But I would love to have raced at Spa.
Oh!
Dad raced at Spa. Unfortunately, he crashed
all together
at Spa.
now.
Done it.
Have you done it as well?
I've ran
How
it.
nice is that?
Oh,
Just like I'm sorry.
Just the absolute.
Gray should get commission, right? Solely from us. How many times we mentioned Spa? You know what I mean?
Spa should be ringing us in inviting.
Get Spa if you're listening. Get in touch with Grace. You owe her a lot of money. Simple as that.
So you say last year was the first time you did it?
Spa, yeah.
So when you went, they'll have changed it quite a bit. They moved a lot of the runoff back.
Right, yeah.
I did it for the first time in 2020, and there was you come back down the hill through that real fast left-hander, and there's all that runoff. Then you do the right, left, a little run into that right-hander. Well, that next fast right, there used to be a little
by the karting track.
That's down on the right, isn't it?
Yeah.
there used to be a building and with a gable end, like basically where the white line was. And I'd never really noticed it before. And then one of the lads was like, "Fuck, it pushed me right off. I come around, there's a gable end there." I'm like, I never even twigged it. Never twigged it, but apparently they've moved that back.
Right.
And then out of Rouge onto the top there, where the catch fences are, he'd also said about, it's like the fences are too near. The fences are too near. It's like, well, I don't know. I never even acknowledged it. So there's loads of runoff in there. They've moved it back again now. They've spent a lot of money at Spa. A lot of money.
That's because we keep pushing it forward on this show. That's why
they're going to try. They're pushing because they want to try and get Grand Prix back there.
Right.
But I don't.
It's the most amazing.
It's a long way around, though, isn't it?
It's beautiful.
Who cares?
Yeah.
I
Just outstanding place. Yeah.
Did Red Bull as well this year. That was.
Did you?
Oh, yeah, that's something else. Yeah.
That's fast, isn't it?
I ran 2 laps round Spa, and then
ran it
last
Did
year.
1,000 miles, didn't you?
And then I ran 2 lots of 4 laps at Red Bull Ring as well last year as part of my 1,000-mile run for the Walton Centre.
Fair play. I tell you what, before we carry on with the Patreon questions, you're asking the next one.
No, patrons, go on.
No. You two have climbed Everest. Let's just tell the listeners. No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You don't. No. Bollocks to you. You've climbed Everest. We would have packed up this show and have gone, I didn't tell everyone that they've climbed Everest, have we?
We trekked to the bottom of Everest. We trekked to base camp.
Grace, just edit that out. They climbed Everest. We'll just leave.
What was that like?
Well,
best thing I've done.
Really?
Shut up, man.
But,
Is that including racing?
It's on a par, yeah.
Really?
Wow.
Yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. But
5 weeks early, about 5 weeks before we set off,
oh God, here we go.
John was involved in a racing incident at Ossusleben and ended up being in Magdeburg Hospital for a week. He broke his collarbone, punctured his lung, broke 5 ribs, broke his foot, broke something in his hand.
5 weeks before.
5 weeks before.
He's lying there going, we nearly had him wing.
Well, he's you trying to discharge yourself out of hospital, and the nurse is going, "You leave, you die." You're pointing because he didn't.
Never mind. I've got a date with him.
I weren't going to have the chest training.
Get a date with
I said, I need to go home. I want to go home.
I've got an ox to take me up a hill. What do they use? Yaks. No, they don't. Is it a yak? Yeah.
Oh, and yak steak is amazing, by the way.
You don't eat them. I thought you put your bags on it.
No, you
do. You eat them when they get a bit tired.
So nurse, I wanted to go. Doctor said no, and then nurse come in with this trolley with a screen on, and she's pointing. You go, you die. It's like, I better stay then.
So a week trying to get better with his blinking chest drain, but they couldn't get the chest drain in right, could they? Blinking tube that they put inside you. Look at the scans, like the tube's that long that they put inside you.
What's that? Like 30 centimetres?
Yeah, a ruler.
Got to be. Is it a ruler? Yeah,
honestly, I've got.
No.
Yes, way high course to do.
He went in there.
Yes, that literally looks like a ruler.
Yeah, went in there.
You know, for audio listeners, that's nipple height. He shaves his chest.
Yeah, he's not hairy. You're not hairy, are you?
No.
No wonder he's fast.
And
slipstream.
So they put it in, and it were killing me. So I said to the doctor, I can't breathe properly. He said, right, we'll go on X-ray again. And they pushed it in too far, and it must have been touching my lung.
What did they put you on to get it in?
Ketamine. They did it with ketamine.
I've done it again. I've got excited about the ketamine thing.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Best stuff in the world.
It's not. No, you kids, it's not. It's not.
Any children listening, it's not.
John's eyes totally glazed over him. It's fabulous.
Me and Tim Neve had this conversation because the stuff is just unreal, isn't it?
Talk me through your ket experience.
Well, they give you this ketamine, and then I went like in this box, like a psychedelic box, and
just do what you want. Do what you want. Put one in there if you want. You don't care, do you? You just
buy me flowers.
Weird. Yeah. Just kiss me first.
They put this chest drain in, and it was wrong. So then they take me down to theatre again. We're going to have to remove it, John, and so they pulled it, and I said, "Are you giving me some more?" No, you'll be all right. Oh God, I nearly launched myself out of that bed and run home, and then it was wrong again. So the third time they give me some more ketamine, and I'm spaced out again, and they hadn't put it in far enough, and so the fourth time they got it right.
Did they have The Apprentice on or something like that?
Yeah, well, we were blind doctors. Like, what?
I really do
frightening,
not
that,
know.
The doctor
Yeah.
come back, he was really apologetic, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he could not be. You know?
Same guy, we're doing it 4 times. Fourth time we got it right.
You haven't got the cleaner,
But,
had you?
but like Fee says,
Doctor's strike at the time. Can you just stab that in the Holden?
so we come out. Finally came out a week later, didn't I? And then we were in Magdeburg, and you got an Airbnb or something, hadn't you, to look after me? You stayed. And then we wanted to come home, but the FIM, which is brilliant, there was insurance by the FIM to repatriation, you know what I mean? But it were going to be a few days later, weren't it? I just wanted to.
I had to get back to work.
Just wanted to get home, so we ended up coming home on train, didn't we?
Yeah, on the Eurotunnel.
1,000 miles or so, whatever
Yeah,
it was.
1,000 miles, 999 miles. From
It was
track
great
to
though.
door.
I was there.
We thought we were going to have to take you back into hospital.
Just give you
that
bottles
first
of
night.
morphine to swing on your way.
No.
And then you got yourself fit and well.
And then
self
five weeks,
Yeah.
and I thought I can't do
Climbed
this. I can't do this. We're going to have to claim off insurance or something. And so we got in touch with the insurance company. No, you're not covered because it was a motor racing accident. So you've no insurance. So up with the option, didn't we? We either go and try
Do what we can.
and do what we can, or don't go and just waste our money. So we went, didn't we? We did it.
If you died on a mountain, were they paid out? The insurance? You know, it wasn't a motorsport accident, but you're climbing at Everest.
Yeah.
But they have paid out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't tell me
think
you
so.
two didn't not look through the fine print.
No,
We'll still get a payout,
he
darling.
fell
Bike
off.
races, we don't look through the fine print, do we?
I nearly fell off a glacier. I bent my walking stick.
And I got the runs for whatever reason. And there's no toilets, is there, when you're walking?
Just a yacht.
Just find a boulder
To go behind this blooming,
like everybody else.
behind this big rock. And I'm there when the
Great
trolley's down and there's an helicopter flying past. Like,
With the people that are paying to fly up to see.
There's John Holden's bare white ass screaming out to the rest of Everest.
they were good.
But we did it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the thing is, we did it
Yeah.
for Fee to raise some money for the Walton Centre. And that's been your driver, hasn't it, Fee?
For
'Cause
this last year, yeah.
Would you like to quickly explain what the Walton Centre is and what they do? And
So yeah, the Walton Centre is our Aintree hospital where a lot of the TT riders, Manx riders, Southern riders,
That's where I was.
yeah, unfortunately
Brilliant.
if you're injured, you get
usually
sent there,
ship you
and
don't they?
the care that they give you, the level of care that
The
they give you,
professionalism,
the
yeah.
professionalism is phenomenal. It's out of this world. And when I come round and in hospital, I just knew I wanted to do something to say thank you, to show my gratitude to just how appreciative I was of how I was treated in hospital and how I'd come out of it all right. Whereas other people, unfortunately, you know, God bless them all, haven't, kind of thing. So I knew at one point when I was fitting well enough, I wanted to do something to say thank you to the Walton Centre, and 5 years on, that was the right time to do it. So I set myself 1,000 miles running target in 10 months. I wrote, as part of my recovery, I wrote a book charting my journey of my recovery, and the proceeds of the book, I gave that to the Walton Centre, been giving that to the Walton Centre as well this year. And then a fortnight ago, Accrington Stanley Football Club were absolutely brilliant. They put on a night with TT stars for us, and we organised it together. And one of the trustees at Accrington Stanley Football Club, David Burgess, who just happened to be
my first passenger
John's
at
first
TT.
passenger at the TT,
class.
gave us the venue gratis, and it was a fabulous place. And we probably had 200 people. We had 184 tickets that were sold, and came to see. We had Ian Hutchinson, Jamie Coward, Rob Hodgson, Ben Birchall, and Cliff Pritchard.
And Clive Paget.
And Clive Paget as well. It was
Fantastic.
brilliant. We had a couple of bikes there on display. We had an auction. We had a raffle. I've not got a grand total yet, but
We gifted.
I think from that one night, we probably raised 8,000.
Oh, fantastic!
And
Plus-
over the year,
plus we gift aid it,
we'll
probably
gift
10.
aid it when we get
Yeah.
it to the when we get the money from Accrington Stanley, and then with that, I'd already raised over the year probably 4,500. So I'm hopefully, we've probably got about 13k.
Oh,
Going.
brilliant!
And this is to the Sid Watkins Innovation Fund. Now, Sid Watkins, I don't know if you know, he was the Formula One principal doctor at
He
Formula
used
One.
to drive around in the cars
You know,
and,
in the middle.
like with Senna and people like that.
You know,
He
on
was there.
that first lap when you've got the safety car travelling behind them, he was there. He worked on
Well, it was
Ayrton Senna. He worked on Ayrton
and
Senna.
Roland Ratzenberger.
He
at
did,
the time.
yes.
God,
But he was a top neurosurgeon from Liverpool, and he died in 2012, I think. But in his memory, they created the Sid Watkins building at the Walton Centre, and that's where families who can come and where their loved ones have ended up at the Walton Centre, they can stay there for a couple of days just whilst they find their bearings.
My missus got to stay in that. Yeah, and they're brilliant.
Yes.
And they don't take anything off you. They say if you can donate something back, then
Yes, yeah.
They like encourage. With my missus, they would just said, "Look, it's fine. You've got somewhere to stay."
Yeah. It is. So they've got the Sid Watkins building and they've got the Sid Watkins Innovation Fund. And they're, unfortunately, all the Sid Watkins Innovation Fund, it is there, as the title suggests, it's there to raise money for new innovative technologies to improve people's recovery and people's operations and people's quality of life and people's chances of survival from lots of neurological, conditions, whether it's strokes, accidents,
Brain injuries or whatever.
brain injuries, whatever. And, they're constantly raising money. And so this time, the money that we've been raising is to go and help fund optical coherence tomography machine. And that is, I know it sounds like gobbledygook, and I've just spat that out without it meaning
it was very convincing, to be honest. I'm 100% on for the ride here. I'm like, I know, I'm with you. Keep going.
It's a machine that looks at conditions affecting the eye, the optical nerve, and the brain.
Wow.
All right.
So,
That money they're going towards that one.
Yeah, to have that, and there's not many of those machines in the whole of the country.
Brilliant. So, like, I tell you what, like, Chrissy and Grace will hate me for not, like, massive, like, just want to help people, but this show will be going out next week, I believe. So we've had the Rory Skinner one on, but people listening to this now, how can they donate to this right now? What is the best way to get involved in this?
I've still got my fundraising page, and it's on the waltoncentrecharity.org.uk. So it's all one word, the waltoncentrecharity.org.uk. In the search bar, if you type Fiona Baker Holden, or fundraisers, Fiona Baker Holden, this beautiful picture, better one of me, I'll come up, and then it'll be like my story, and then you can click on donate, and that will be much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you a lot for doing all that. That all this thing takes time and effort and everything that you've been through. Well done, the pair of you.
It took a bit of time, didn't it? That fundraising.
Yeah.
But the people who went to the evening, and the people who've been there, like Hutch and everybody, they were fantastic.
It was a rapturous evening. It was brilliant.
Oh, I like that.
It was a great evening with pie and
It
peas
was
as well.
the pie and peas supper.
Can't go wrong.
With a portion of pie and peas.
Can't go wrong.
It was great, weren't it?
Absolutely brilliant.
was.
Absolutely brilliant, guys.
It was.
But please, for everyone listening, please get involved. Please,
If you
donate.
can just put a bit in, it's be good, wouldn't it?
No, fantastic. It's about sticking together in everything in that regard, isn't it? So I'm trying to think. My next page. What you got?
To be honest with you, I had a read through the patrons, and we've covered pretty much everything in there.
Maybe it's a little chance to just wet their whistle.
Yeah, we could have a little drinky poos, couldn't we?
See, this is I tell you what, while Joe's pouring, right?
Look,
before we
look,
get
pouring,
this,
Fiona's
you are pouring. So hold on, before we go down that route, but honestly, thank you so much, Paul Bennett, Alex Chapman. Alex Chapman got 2 questions in there. I love that. You know, there's a very good one about. See, like you say, we cover everything in that regard. But cracking questions, Alex. Mark Bates, we got Jason Photostrada. He'll get some photos of you at the BSB this year. I'm telling you now, he's quite handy on the clicks. Sam Higginson, we've got Alex Chapman, another one from Paul. He's obviously a massive fan, but he's a nice compliment for you. We've got Mark Betts. I have massive respect for all racers, in particular sidecar drivers, and for the show that they put on for the show he has put on, particularly at the TT. So there you are. That's a shout from
My
Mark.
pleasure.
They are absolutely fantastic. But now, right.
Here we go.
Thank you, obviously, all our patrons and sponsors. But the time is now to explain what we've got here.
It's gin o'clock.
It's gin o'clock. It's a Thursday morning.
Don't worry, we're not driving.
Don't do it in one. Just sip it and then get the aftertaste.
Right.
I'm glad you said that because I was going to ask.
Don't just neck it.
Right. No. Before we start drinking gin, can we explain the story behind this? Because
this should be the bit on the side, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's talk why we're seeing that. Like, we're all married here. We're going to explain this one.
A motorbike is a motorbike, but a sidecar is a motorbike with a bit on the side.
It's a brilliant name for a gin.
So you're going to call it gin, aren't you?
So your little Twitter feed or whatever you call it, your hashtag is likes a bit on the side, as in
Which is a sidecar.
needs a passenger because he's the driver.
Need a bit on the side, don't you? Everybody needs a bit on the side. But that didn't go down well with you at the beginning, did it?
No, I was all right with it.
Right.
That's another one of those. You remember it differently. Yeah.
I'm sorry, but have you got someone designing a label?
Not yet.
Right, perfect. Now, because you're both on Twitter, are you on Instagram as well?
Yeah.
And Facebook?
Yeah.
Right, please, any artists who want to come up with a logo, is that a fair comment to say?
Yeah.
Like,
we're going to have Fijs, like Fiona and John Fijs, and we're going to call our gin a bit on the side.
But you need to explain the gin. We need to know.
This
what's
is
this
our
particular blend?
Right,
Let's have a little taste first.
Let's
See what we think.
see what you think.
It's
Just
turned into a cookery program, isn't it?
I'm getting
Prost.
pissed.
Cheers, Ross. Ross will be listening down in London. Your superstar.
It gets you after, doesn't it? Can you feel
Yeah.
it? Huh?
It's like sweet, and then it's like
Bit of a, yeah.
Nice warm.
and then it comes
It's
on
nice, isn't it?
comes on cam after that, doesn't it? Yeah.
I tell you what, we're never going to turn in the Great British Bake Off after this, are we? You know what I mean? All of us are just sitting down in front of microphones going, "Ooh, aye."
Can you imagine getting absolutely arsehole on that
I have done.
and then having to spew it back up again?
No.
I don't think. No. You wouldn't. You
Would
wouldn't
it
do
burn
that
on the
with
way
us.
back up?
It's
I would
almost
hope
worth
not.
getting a cold for, isn't it?
So rhubarb. and
That is
gin.
lovely.
Rhubarb and chili.
What's more?
Gin.
That
Rhubarb
chili.
and gin.
Do you know? Yeah.
The chili aftertaste, isn't it? The afterburn a bit.
Oh,
Afterglow.
So I think-
These afterglow.
oh,
I'd,
No, a
I'd
bit
buy
on
a
the
bottle of
side.
that.
that
I'd
is.
buy a
I tell you
bottle of
what, I would. I'm not. We're not even joking.
That's a week old. So I've bought the gin. Please, please don't be under any illusions or.
You can have a do it
Directions,
like
I've
distilling
not
your
made
own
the
gin, though.
No.
I don't know what's
I could have an accident quite easily.
This has come from a woman who's had a brain hemorrhage, a spinal cord ripped out, and married John Holden. She's got enough mental damage going.
Oh yeah.
That's why she needs a
gin.
fizzy gin
That
or
is.
whatever.
I tell you what,
No.
that is out.
Yeah.
That is. I tell you what, that is the shit. That
You wouldn't think chili'd work in a drink.
it does now.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
I tell you
The
what,
rhubarb juice came from Ossersleben, and the chili came from the garden.
hand that other compartment up. Now I tell you what, I am so bad with names. Now this lad, right, he's a marshal at every British around, right, and he came to France, and he handed this over, right. It's got. Go on. Would you like to explain what you're unraveling there?
Just looks like death in a bottle.
It's death in a bottle, right? So, right, there is instructions how to do this.
500,000 Scoville's Naga chili vodka.
Oh,
Right,
my
the hot-
golly.
No. I'm telling you now, right? So it's
Have you got an ice cream as well?
No. So it's got.
Is it tattoo artist, or are they the tiny little shot glasses you recommend?
Is that only size you're supposed to
No, that is the size you're supposed to have, but I shit you not, right? So he turned up with his bottle, right? He had to import this in. It's got, now to our audio listeners, it's got the devil's face.
That's why I say it's just
Right.
So that's the size of the shot glass.
And he's been obviously messaging Grace, and I'm so sorry, and I swear down we're going to give you a shout out. I'm so
Naga
sorry.
Chilies. Oh my god.
Oh, yeah,
No.
I
Right.
might just watch.
Are we having a do?
No. I tell you, are we going for a shot? I don't know. No,
What
there's a
strength is it? Is it
no.
100%?
There's a sample tasting to this, right? And I'm getting a shot of it is just nuts.
Is it?
Because I'm going to be honest with you, I haven't even done a shot of it, right? But do you want to do the taste or the shot?
How bad can it be?
Are you going for it, Joe?
People are listening
I
to you,
don't know.
don't know. Are you letting yourself in
I tell you what, right. I tell you
bottle
what.
looks nice.
Right, I tell you what. No. This is the thing, right? Are we
Well,
going
you
to
got
go?
first time. It was a gift to you. So
No. I've got to return this. No, we've been promising them since brands at the end of the year, and I'm actually getting pretty.
What does it say on the back?
No,
Like,
it's,
Have
percentage.
you just been building yourself up to it?
No, I tell you what. I've had you know what I mean.
Waiting for someone dumb enough to do it. Before,
Well, no,
yeah.
that's it. Josh will be getting his hair done, his nails. Christian's an athlete. It's only me and Joe that are the road racing variety.
I don't know. I'm not road racing anymore, am I?
How does
Sorry,
it
son.
compare
You
to
want
this Irish moonshine?
no? That's smooth compared to it. Now, basically, do you want to go for the?
He's a sidecar, man. He'll just swig it out the bottle
I might
and
just
then wash his
stick to
eye
mine.
with it.
Just do not
the
touch
one.
your eyes.
Ah,
Do not rub your eyes. Holy shit!
Maybe just a sniff.
What's the tasting version of it?
I don't know.
Did he say you should just do
I'm
a
actually.
tasting version?
I'm not being funny. If you log up now, please like and subscribe and get yourself on YouTube for this, because that is not even. That's tiny.
Is that
That's a
genuinely what they
thimbleful, isn't it?
recommend?
That is not even a thimble. I'm talking.
I've
I tell you what. I love this. Right, we've got. I think we've been audio pouring a drink out for like 5 minutes now, and the nerves are building. There'll be people pulling up in laybys for a different reason right now.
They'll be checking online where they can get this from.
No, I'm telling you now. This is going to make us day. The fact that we're doing this.
I don't
This
like
is-
spicy food.
I don't. No. I'm actually. I'm getting a sweat on from the gin here, right? So the chili powders and that hot
Oh,
food.
I'll have a-
I love hot food, but hot food does not like me. I mean, I'll go into a sweat thinking about it.
Smells. That's a lovely perfume.
Okay. I'm glad you're watering this down, literally. So this is.
Oh my golly.
Bad if they're telling you it must be
No.
Does it burn a hole in your tongue or something?
Aye, that's what I mean.
No. I'm a shy bag when it comes to this
Partially
sort of
lose
thing,
your
mate.
sight
You know
or
what
something.
I mean?
Teeth fall out, melt your gums.
Immediately shit yourself.
Right. So.
What's happening now then?
Is that yours?
No, I know. I better pour a bit more. I'm shy
Did
bagging
you see
it.
that
Oh,
there?
I'm glad.
You and me have got full
I'm
neck.
glad I've got the least.
I've got the most now.
Have a
There.
look.
No, you can't. Right.
Oh.
You can all have a look after.
It's a bit of a clue in which size of the.
bottle, right,
No,
so-
the size of these in the clay.
Yeah.
I tell you, if we don't, have you gone for it? He hasn't gone for it. Right, no, seriously,
What do we
right,
do?
like basically, right, for everything. I'm properly building this up here, but to the loved ones we've lost, we might be joining them in a second.
Yeah.
Extremely
The
hot
other ones we've
vodka.
lost.
For those that have crossed the finish line way too soon.
Do not drink
Hey,
a shot
well,
under
that's
any
it.
circumstances.
Pardon?
Not like a
Pardon?
full shot glass.
So what's
not.
Oh,
I might just stick my tongue in.
well, this is
That's a
that's
thimble.
just a warm up for you, or
That's
You're
a
like
shot
the-
glass. This is a teeny tiny thimble of it.
yours is just a warm up act. Have you
Well,
Are we going for
have
it?
you nipped
Are we going for it?
In one.
Hey, you know what? Bollocks to it. 3,
Here we
2,
go.
1. Here we go.
Oh,
Hey, that's nice.
My ears have gone
Oh,
off.
I like that.
I'm going to water it down with gin.
Oh, that's well nice. Isn't it?
Fiona.
Oh, no more.
Just chew on a chili. You can't taste the alcohol. Just chili. Have you got the hiccups?
Oh, why did we do
I have no.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's nice. I like that.
The sweat is running off us. We've killed John Holden.
And on that note,
I'll tell you what.
No, no more. Look
No
at
more.
this.
The sweat is running off me.
God.
Well, I think
It's like putting a
That's horrendous.
Wow, hey.
I've stuck my tongue on some things in my life, but
Oh, awesome.
No, it's not
No.
awesome.
That
I'm
is-
sweating now.
I'm sweating.
One's enough.
No,
What do you mean one's enough? The fact these two.
not bothering was enough.
That is lovely.
Can we have a drink of yours just to calm it down?
Yeah, get.
No.
Oh my giddy aunt. Right.
So lovely.
It's not. Well, it is.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
We are gonna we're gonna shit through an eye of a needle tomorrow.
Oh, no
That's
more, no
savage.
more I'm driving, no. Come here, have
That
some,
does have a-
come
I
here,
know
some
you-
quick fire.
Yeah,
Quick
I'll
sip
tell you
of
what,
water.
a coffee.
There's a bit of cold coffee there. If you want to have a sip on that, we're gonna have to. I tell you what, we're gonna have to tidy up this show right now. Right, let's tidy it up. The lips are burning now. So anyway, thank you so much to all our sponsors. This is gonna be so quick.
Yeah.
Thank you so much to OMG, Bennetts, JCT, Truck and Trailer Hire. Lee Pinder will be absolutely pissing himself because I have not got time to read through your sponsorship. But thank you so much. But he does Real Networks provide a complete design and installation service for copper and fiber optical data cabling systems. But for anyone else who wants to get involved, and please, sponsor per episode, go for it. You are pouring more gin. I'm loving this. As always, Josh does our little closing message for Bennetts, because I'm not professional enough to do that, so let's let you roll off the tongue with that one, son.
So the competitions for the Bennetts customers and Bike Social members are now live. So the first two are going to be for rounds 1 and 2 of the BSB Championship. Obviously, the first round being over in Spain. So you can sign up to enter those competitions over at bikesocial.co.uk.
My heart is on fire.
Close your mouth down.
It's also, mine's like, I'm all right now. I don't know,
Seriously, this
I might
cools
be
you
in a
down.
coma that I don't know about. But it's worth saying as well,
That does calm it down, all kidding aside.
the Chasing the Championship film that Chrissy did is on Amazon, and it's going to be, it's free with a Prime account. So if anybody who hasn't seen Chasing the Championship,
Right.
which Chrissy did in 2020,
Yeah.
that's that fucking chilly stuff.
Yeah, maybe we should have done the reading beforehand.
It's on Amazon Prime.
Are you guys
Get on and have a watch.
I am now. No, but please go look at Dave's film. Chrissy did a fantastic. Oh shit! Now I'm losing the plot here. I'm losing things here. But no, Chasing the Championship it's a true representation of what he went through that year and everything that he's built up to that point. And God will miss him. But I tell you what,
Absolutely.
one thing, mind. The shite bag definitely. He was teetotal, and he wouldn't have done that. And
No.
even that.
That was the only reason I did it. Because we did a cheers. We did
Damn
a toast
right.
to him.
Yeah.
So that was the reason for
I
doing it.
love it, mate. Absolutely love it. And I'll tell you, on that note, yet again, thank you so much for
thank
letting
you,
us
Dom.
poison you on air. You know, it's,
I think it's the first
Thank you
Chasing
for having
the
us
Racing.
here.
it's definitely a
It's
first.
been great fun. Thank you.
But seriously, thank you so much for coming up. And hey, can't wait to see you in the TT paddock. I can't wait. And good luck for this season. And I just. Hey,
Okay.
Good luck
It's
with
been
your
mint
ride
crack.
as well.
Yeah.
You've got an epic ride coming up with the Burrows team, haven't you?
I've got an epic date with a toilet at the minute.
So we've brought gin to the table. What else do you like? What do you want your next guest to bring
I
on
want
for
milk.
you?
Water, milk, yeah.
An ice cream.
Oh, mint.
Nice piece of toast or
Absolutely
something.
love it.
Anything.
Absolutely
Well, I did say
fantastic.
ice cream.
Mint. Right, we're closing it. Right.
Thank
Good
you.
night,
Go on,
everyone.
thank
Thank
you.
you so
Thank
much.
you.
And see you in a minute.
Bye.